How are we? How are we? How are we, everybody? We should be live now. Everybody is one or two. We have two. Who have we got? Hello, Dan. No, I don't think it does. I don't think it does. I think this gives me a far better image than is the truth, as it were. My mind is far more similar to yours. Yeah. If you found yourself here by accident, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of responsible for what's about to happen, but you know, I'll be as you you've only got yourself to blame really for inadvertently finding your way here. Sorry, I just adjusted my camera a little bit. Is that yellow Power Ranger one we were talking about? Hello, Marcus. How are you? Marcus, as you were the first one who's written, could you just tell me if the sound is okay? There's no echoes or anything. If me and Dan mucked about with it earlier, and I think we've established that it should be okay, but it's still really hard to tell from my end, as it were. I get a lot of echo in my end. My cavernous end. Yeah. I did have the uncomfortable day of proving that a duck doesn't echo once though in my cabin. RSPB don't like me anymore. You sound fine, Luke. Can't hear Dan though. That's a good thing though.
You hear me?
Hang on, right? You should be able to hear you now. Just speak down. Say
Right,
something.
Can people hear me now?
Yeah. See, Marcus liked it.
Yeah. Can anyone hear me now?
You should.
Could you not hear me before, and you can hear me now, or is Marcus being hilarious? This is the point. This is the problem with these things.
Yeah, you're asking people for advice when actually they want to give you a little quip.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now, Mark? Now okay, I can hear him safely. Yeah.
That's fine.
Is there any? Is there any echo or anything, or is everything all right, guys? Oh, they only heard me. That was probably a weird conversation that they heard then. Just me talking about my cavernous end.
You forgot to unmute yourself. Me rather. That's why, which is very suspicious. Right, I'm going to start painting.
Makes sense.
I'm going to start painting. Yeah, this is. I'm not sure how well this is going to work. This camera being here.
Fire away then, Mark. Go for it.
Yes.
He's just popped into personal abuse quickly.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't have to stay. Would rather you didn't, to be honest.
Batman Forever.
I already heard you say the joke before, and it wasn't funny that time either. So I'm
Marcus, you can be my resident Burrows and Badgers chooser, as you chose the Badger last time. So here's me options again. So I've got me Otter Pirate. It's technically a rabbit, but I'm using it as a hare archer. The awesome badass squirrel rogue. One of the stoats, and here is the other one. One of the three I have already done, and then a little kingfisher. So, could someone tell me what to do? I like a little direction in my life.
I could tell you what to do.
You'll tell me all sorts.
I've got some new paintbrushes, so I'm looking forward to using those. Although I have used them a little bit before.
What special about these new paintbrushes?
Well, they're not that special. They're just
because they don't need to be.
Nice ones. Well, no. Well, they are. You say that, but you've got bloody Rosemary and what's it? No, not Rosemary. You've got Windsor and
only
Newton.
Windsor and Newton. I mean, it's not only their like
Yeah, well, only
normal
Windsor and
set.
Newton, the one that is regarded to be the best paintbrushes that there are out there.
Are they?
Yes.
Oh, Mike likes the background. Mike, did you see the start of the stream though? You probably didn't.
No. Quick, swap it over so you can see
There
it.
you go, Mike. Just for you. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
I was sick of being in your shadow.
Yeah.
What
was it? Can't remember what I was saying.
We were talking about brushes.
Yeah, Windsor and Newton are meant to be the best. They're expensive. They're like 7-8 quid a brush.
Not these cotton ones. I think they're fairly normal Windsor and Newton ones.
Oh, I see. You're not.
I don't think these are anything particularly fancy. These were like 3 or 4 quid a brush or something. I think.
Okay, the ones that not you're meant to get.
But Mike doesn't like the intro.
Well, it's about time Mike doesn't like something. Oh, hello, Ambi.
Hello, Ambi.
Yes. I'm struggling to see the thing because my computer's too far away.
Tristan is asking you how many more you've got to go, Dan, on your Batman.
Well,
which one am I painting, people? I hate pirates, so not that one. Right, so not the pirate otter, Marcus. Okay.
Why does Marcus hate pirates?
Squirrel Road. Okay, fine. No, Squirrel Road. Yeah, why don't you like pirates, Marcus? That's a bit racist. Is it racist? It's not.
It is racist, because isn't. Well, I'm about to be racist.
Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go, people. Strap on. Strap in. Strap in.
Good grief.
Sorry.
The fantasies are leaking. No, because aren't Vikings meant to hate pirates? Isn't that one of the things?
Is it?
Vikings versus pirates? Is that not a thing? I mean, not in real life, obviously.
What, like in app games, you mean? Like kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, like kind
zombies
of
versus ninjas, and
like one of those stupid meme rivalry type things. You know, all Vikings don't.
Oh, really?
Do you like Vikings or do you like pirates? I think so.
Well, I did not know this. He should be a red squirrel, shouldn't he?
Yes, definitely.
Not one of those murderous bastard grey squirrels. Yeah, now I'm probably being racist now, aren't I?
Do they actually murder, or do they just compete the others out?
I've never been entirely sure. I certainly, when I was younger, I was given the impression that the grey squirrels like actively harmed the red squirrels, but I think you're probably right. It was more a case of
I suspect
competed
it's just
and won.
Yeah, they're better at.
They're better at squirreling.
Yeah,
they're better squirrels than the gingers.
Than the ginger squirrels.
Right, so
I'm just finishing these guys off more than anything. I really hate this model. Look at it. Look at his teeth. Ugh.
Oh, the Batman one, yeah.
Stupid.
It's just
stupid.
Everything about it is cack. I hate two.
I didn't just say Mimi.
Viking and pirates.
Although
Marcus, you don't like pirate-themed board games. That's a shame because Libertalia is one of my favourite games.
Yeah, Libertalia is a great game. There's not many good board games. There's Libertalia.
No, there aren't. You're right. Which surprises me, to be honest. There should be way more.
Yeah, Merchants and Marauders is all right, but it's too long.
Merchants and Marauders was a bit of a jumbled, long, drawn-out, khaki mess.
Well, yeah, it's showing its age, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I think it was.
That's, I would say. I would like to try Rum and Bones. I reckon it's a nice sort of beer and pretzels. Don't take it too seriously. Just a bit of dice rolling fun. I don't want to own it, but I wouldn't mind trying.
So, the problem with that is for that game is the amount of money it costs for being a beer and pretzels, just a bit of fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
And let's face it, probably the amount of setup time it takes as well.
I imagine so. Yeah.
Beer and pretzels games. The one disadvantage of minis games for beer and pretzels games is that look at this. I
agree with you, Marcus, that Vikings is massively overused at the moment. It's just ridiculous. Vikings are the new zombies, I would say. Zombies are. I don't even think zombies are that overused anymore.
No,
But
they're not.
I wouldn't say pirates are overused. I would say pirates is a quite underutilized and really good theme. I wouldn't say there's enough out there personally, but
There's not a lot you can do with pirates, I suppose.
well, yeah, but I would still say they hadn't been done. You know, I mean, like well, like you said, Merchants and Marauders, product of its time. It's a bit of a bloated old mess. I would love a more modern version of Merchants and Marauders.
Wasn't Black Fleet?
That was a bit.
more.
That was a bit too family. It's a nice game. I played it once, I think, ages ago, and it was nice. But it's not. If you're looking for sort of the weight of Merchants and Marauders, which got a little bit more something about it, Black Fleet isn't quite the same, really.
Look at stupid Batman's stupid teeth.
So we're just going to periodically. What should we
Abuse
say? Like, what should we say? Like every 7 to 8 minutes, you just can randomly go, look at his fucking teeth. His shitty teeth.
You could argue that it was by bad painting, but it's not, because look at that picture there. Stupid vampire Batman.
It's just awful in all regards. Where are we at? It's not so overused as are Zombie and Cthulhu. Cthulhu, massively overused. Zombies, like I said, I would say were overused. I think that's been chilled out a bit. Mark, I think zombies, Cthulhu, vampires, werewolves, other high fantasy. I dislike pirates. Should be more games about beer, farming, and trading in the Mediterranean. Absolutely, because there's not nearly enough about farming and trading in the Mediterranean.
Yes, but the point is for those games, you unimaginative bastards, is that it's just a coat hanger to hang a theme on. It's all these people. Oh, I never really felt like I was farming. Well, you're not meant to. You're bloody playing a board game.
You really don't agree with the fact that there could be immersion, do you?
No, I do agree with immersion, but I don't agree with the fact that there has to be immersion. That's all. Right, Tony's stupid teeth down with this wash. Oh, he looks like a bloody Aardman version of Batman now. Right, you're going over there. I'm not going to bother you anymore.
Cocked him up?
No, I don't know if it's possible to.
No,
cock
well,
him
that's
up.
what I was about to say. I was about to say that don't be too hard on yourself. You're trying to polish a turd.
I've put too much. I don't know if you can see there. I've put too much. His teeth have been accentuated too much.
Yes, that's actually made it worse, hasn't it? That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe but I've washed it with brown. I might wash it again with brown a bit later.
Did you ever used to, just thinking of my reference that I just said? Did you ever used to watch MythBusters?
No, because it never really was on, was it? In the UK, not easily on.
Wasn't it?
I know it was on, but it was never easily
I
on.
started watching it when it got repeated on one of those anonymous weird channels in the arse end.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's a show. It's a show Evan would love, I think, and bits of it are on Netflix, but not all of it.
The one the reason I'm mentioning MythBusters is because, as I said, you can't polish a turd, but they did a MythBusters on proving that you can polish a turd.
They didn't like each other, those two, did they?
By the end of it, they absolutely freaking hated each other. I watch his YouTube channel quite a lot.
Yeah, so do I. Adam Savage.
He's just seems like such a nice bloke.
Yeah, no,
and so does the other guy. I don't think the other guy's a bad guy. I think they just didn't gel in the end. It was just just didn't work out.
that man needs an obscure icon painted on it. Oh, I think I understand it. I think I understand that joke, but I don't really.
I think I do, but I know I don't.
But with Mike's jokes is it's often very difficult to understand them because they're not generally funny.
That is hard to understand. A joke that's not funny.
Yeah, Jamaica is a good game.
Has Mark Cook's gone already? Mark Cook's gone already.
No one cares about Mark Cook.
True.
He's only got one game, you know.
That's not what I thought you were about to say. You only had one off for a second. I thought we were going to go down like the Hitler rhyme for a second.
I wouldn't be that crude. Did Hitler? No, he didn't. Did he? That was a myth. Was that right?
I assumed it was just a myth. It was just a stupid rhyme that kind of.
Does anyone know if Hitler only had one testicle, or is it just a myth? Where are you going, Luke?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just looking.
He's wandering around his office. He's meant to be
I've
painting.
got a bit.
He's wandering around.
I've got a bit
He's
of like
lost.
wire that just
He's lost.
pokes.
He's got memory problems. Luke, you're in your office, Luke.
Who said that?
Sit down. Sit down.
Is that
Yeah,
God?
I saw Ambi over on the BGG channel as well. I haven't seen it yet, but I noticed her face pop up under 18xx game. My plan was to watch it actually. Maybe at work, because I've got a suspicion I'm going to really like 18xx games, because I do like a lot of.
I think I would like an 18xx game as well.
Yeah, the thing that dissuades me from playing, and Ambi could perhaps tell us if I'm being foolish, is that what if it's rubbish?
It's a long time to spend doing something rubbish.
Playing a game that I don't want to play.
Yeah, you
Well,
got a point
I suppose
there.
she will say it's not rubbish. I'm guessing that would
Well,
be her response.
I mean, yes, you're going to ask. Well, it depends. Hopefully, she can be mature and objective about it.
Are you saying Ambi's not normally mature? That's
I
a bit.
don't know Ambi. I'm just saying on this occasion, hopefully, she can be mature and objective about the question.
Oh, Luke, you can't see my video. Shaking me thick.
He does this. He did this the other night when we had an off-air little painting session, and he would stare down the camera, shaking his bottle vigorously, making that god-awful noise. He put me right off my breakfast.
Put breakfast?
Yeah, I was still thinking about it.
Okay, fair enough. I'm glad I have that level of effect on you. Now, this green arrow is meant to have got some red on it, but I object to that. So
he's the green arrow.
he's the green
He's
arrow.
not the Christmas arrow.
Exactly. He's not Santa's chuffing elf, is he? Oh.
Yeah, Santa's little arrow.
Marcus is bad at economic stuff.
Well, Sweden seemed to have got it down, so you're alone in that sense. So.
High taxation. That's how Sweden's done it, isn't it? Isn't it all Scandinavian countries?
That's pretty much all of them. Yeah.
High taxation. Did I tell you about the lecture we had in the difference between this? It was Norway actually, but due to my level of racism and ignorance, I'm going to put them all in together. Scandinavian, that's it. Norway's mental health system and Italy's mental health system. In that they've both got kind of interesting cultural things. Now, I don't know how accurate this is. And granted, this was 20 years ago when I did my training as well. But in Italy, you've very much got a kind of very independent, libertarian almost attitude towards society.
Right.
Which leads very much to a mental health system, which is very, I don't know, patient rights focused is the right thing, but very kind of non-authoritarian, and very, very few institutions and people with mental health problems living in the community with quite severe mental health problems because there's not the kind of social pressure to force them to conform as much. Whereas in Sweden and Norway, you've got a system where there are a lot more Sweden. I don't know about Sweden. A lot more mental health institutions, and people tend to go into hospital to get treated, and they tend to what we would call section, but kind of compulsory force people to go into hospital less because people just kind of do what the state tells them,
Right.
because that's the kind of ethos is that you do what you're told. Now I don't know that's still the case. That was 20 years ago.
Was this a good thing or a bad thing? I was struggling to keep up.
I'm not saying either is a good thing or a bad thing. There's a little bit of an echo with my sound. It says. Is it bad? Is it bad? It's a real problem.
It might be feeding through from mine. Hang on.
Right. It's a real problem because we can't check it. It's just really difficult to
to check it. But as long as it's
Because
tolerable.
I had you up quite loud in my ears, and that's done that before.
Okay.
Yeah, so I reckon that probably was just through me. Blame Luke. Yeah, absolutely, like you know.
Yeah. Well, Luke's doing the technical stuff. I'm not saying either a good way or a bad way. I think people are left a long time and probably undergo a lot of distress in a more liberal system. You know, there are times when I have to force people to go into hospital because I feel that it's in their best interests and they're not able to make an informed decision about what is in their best interest. Um, and in Italy, that person would be left a lot longer.
So
But
they
then
would
again,
take a lot. So you're saying they would. There's a system in place that they still could be, as you would say, sectioned or whatever the right way of saying it is. But theirs just takes a lot longer. It puts a lot more onus on them initially.
a lot more, yeah, a lot more onus on them to see. I'm talking about something I don't actually know anything about, and this is remembering a lecture of 20 years ago. But yeah, yeah. So I mean, there are people who believe that people who hear voices, for example, and things like that, should just be allowed to hear their voices, and it's just the way they experience the world and all that
Right.
stuff. And I've got a lot of sympathy for that until the point where the person is incredibly distressed by those
Mm.
voices, which often happens, and also or becomes a danger to other people
Yeah.
because of those voices.
I imagine it's
Which,
very case by case, isn't it? But in certain
yeah,
situations,
exactly, yeah.
the certain people, yes, maybe a little more time is not the worst thing in the world. But then there's
Well,
some
not even
where,
time.
uh,
If someone says they don't they if someone's getting hearing voices for someone, let's say they're hearing voices commenting on what they do, that's a relatively common one. So
right,
so like having David Attenborough commenting on everything you do, but not in a negative way, just saying, and now Dan's doing some painting, and now he's
is
doing
that
this, and
quite a
now he's doing that.
common? I must admit, now that you're saying it, I've always I hadn't ever really considered what the voices in people's head, how
Well,
they manifest, as it were.
it,
You know,
it it's it's not a very common thing for me to see because if that does happen, then people generally, and it's felt that it probably does happen relatively often, then people generally don't talk about it because A, it's not within social norms, um, and
to talk
B,
about it,
yeah,
to say I'm
if
hearing
you
voices.
if you're hearing voices and it's not upsetting you, and you think if other people know you're hearing voices, they'll think you're mad, then you probably will just keep it to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Also,
The,
is
the,
there a
the, the,
point in which people just think it's their own internal monologue kind of thing?
yeah. But
They don't
that's what
actually
we call it.
realise that they're
No. Because
hearing
we all
voices.
got we've all got an internal monologue. So if you're hearing an internal monologue, then that's just your internal
Well, yeah,
monologue.
no, but I mean, if they're struggling with rational thought anyway,
Right.
you see what I mean? Is there a chance that that until they do say it to somebody, they don't consider it to be voices in their head? You
Uh,
see what I'm trying to say?
I do see what you're saying. So there's different level. I mean, you can hear voices in your head through your ears.
Oh,
So
I
so
see. So you can just like hear a
it can
voice in the
sound,
room, as it were, kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah, that's relatively common. I mean, one of the common things that
that's another thing I'd never really considered. Yeah.
one of the common things that we would see that we would get involved in is, I mean, probably the most common thing we get is people thinking the neighbours are talking about them,
Really,
um,
what, like hearing it through the walls, kind of thing, or over
hearing
the
through the
fence. Yeah.
walls, often saying they're going to rob them, burgle them, murder them, whatever, which is obviously very distressing if you
Mm.
can hear your neighbours plotting to kill you through your walls.
And could
Um,
cause
uh,
you to react or enact early, as it were.
well, it very, very rarely does. I need. I
But
should.
you'd have to take that into account, obviously, wouldn't you? That
Yeah,
you'd have to take that into
but
consideration. I'm not
in my
saying that's the first thing that people who would hear those voices would think, but just
no,
in my
I know
mind that
I know
came
what
as
you're
an
saying,
option. You know.
but bizarrely, in my 20 years of nursing and nursing acutely unwell people, I have never come across somebody who's tried to take retaliatory action
Oh, really?
against their neighbours. Yeah,
But
so I
that
just
is
wanted.
quite common, is it, to think you can hear your neighbours plotting? That's a
Yeah, that's a very common thing,
oh.
or someone in your attic, um, or
God,
something like that.
can you imagine that? Trying to live like that.
Oh, it's
Must
horrendous,
be
absolutely
horrific.
horrendous.
Thinking you can hear somebody trying to kill you, plotting to kill you in your attic. or worse, yes, the Bob next door.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I was getting there. Anyway, so difference in mental health systems in Sweden and Italy. So there you go. That's what I was going to say.
Fascinating.
But it is. But I don't. Yeah, I don't. I could give you examples, but that would be unethical. But it's an interesting thing. So that's auditory hallucinations. Then you get visual hallucinations. So that's seeing things. Often the kind of most common, I'd say, thing. You don't get auditory hallucination. You get auditory hallucination a lot more than visual hallucination.
I can imagine. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that it's a lot more rare. So the most common thing with that would be kind of seeing. Not really sure really what the most common thing. Like, there's not really a thing, but people do see people. People see strange shapes, all that kind of stuff.
I call her my honorary grandmother, but she, before she kind of went to like into a nursing home and stuff, she started to suffer very badly with macular degeneration.
Right, yeah.
Their eyes got real bad. Not to the point, not blindness, but just, she could still know who I was when I walked in the room or whatever. But she often used to say that I was never entirely sure if it was her mental degeneration as well. She always used to say she had a brown, like, kind of slightly woolly rug in front of the fireplace. And she used to tell me often that she'd fall asleep in the chair, or she'd walk into the room or something. She would just think it was a dog laying in front of the...
Right,
and I was never entirely sure if that was... She used to say it was her eyesight playing tricks on her.
If she used to say it was her eyesight playing tricks on her, then it probably was her eyesight playing tricks on her, because with a visual hallucination, you tend to believe it's real. Right. Unless you've got... There are some types of dementia.
Well, she certainly did begin to suffer. She was definitely suffering at that point. Or certainly starting to... Not the early signs, but the early signs of it getting quite bad, kind of thing,
It's starting to it's a sad thing. Is dementia. It's horrible.
It's horrific.
Need to get that cured. Anyway, so that was a bit miserable. Sorry for people.
Yes.
Are either you going to use some contrast paint? No,
I did yesterday.
You did yesterday.
I wasn't particularly happy with it, to be fair.
Was that the black one?
Yeah.
Was that yesterday?
Or the day before, whenever it was. So this is using the black from this is a Death Trooper from Star Wars Legion, and it just didn't quite. I don't know. I've seen it done better.
I've seen all your painting done.
Shut up. I don't know. I think it's more just because the fact that the whole model is so bloody dark anyway. It's hard to see that it is. The more I'm looking at it now, the more I'm thinking actually it's not that bad.
I think it's all right. I think it's got some subtle shading.
Yeah, it has got subtle shading. The more I'm looking at it, I think it's just because
the whole thing's
black.
That's that's your issue. Stupid Death Troopers.
And also it's got a little bit more work to do in it anyway. So.
This green's just not. I'm not impressed with it.
It's must admit, I looked up and I thought that was an odd choice of green.
Well, it's kind of a darkish green, which is
from here. It kind of looks.
It's emerald.
Yeah, a bit like. It looks like you should paint the rest of him orange, and I should be shouting "Go Dolphins."
No, it's not teal. Yeah, that's what you say.
Yeah, it's certainly got a slightly aquamarine kind of green tinge, but it's probably just the camera. But
it could be the camera. I think
it's green looks bluish.
No,
yeah, see, that's what Mike's saying as well, and Mike is a font of knowledge. So
he says something. I tell you what. Batman, yes, Marcus. Black contrast paint would be ideal for the Batman.
I have used it on one of the Catwoman models, and it worked really well. And the the owl people, the people in suits with the owl face.
The owl guys are called.
Right, there you go. Yeah, I used it on them and it worked great. But that was just on the basic white undercoat. That wasn't using the Wraithbone contrast undercoat, which I used for the Death Troopers.
The issue with using black on my Batman stuff is you can't buy it at the moment. It's all out of stock. So I would be using it, Marcus, to be honest, if I could get hold of it. I'm probably not going to invest in a great deal. I'm probably not going to invest in a great deal of it because it's expensive.
Mike says that.
Well,
I'll only exclusively in contrast paints.
Yes, here he is. That's going on the paint. If I finish this dude, I'm probably going to start Batcow next. Actually, stupid Batcow. These are all the models, apart from the Green Arrow here. These are all the models that I'm probably never going to use. And I'm just painting in order to. Well, because I've nearly finished the box now, so I might as well have the entire box painted. I played Frostgrave again today. That was I played it twice, so I've now played Frostgrave 5 times in the last 7 days. Yeah.
5 times in what? 7 days?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
I mean, twice was 2 times in a row, if that makes any sense. But
still.
But yeah.
I have played Happy Families and Double, getting close to double figures in the last 7 days.
I can't remember. You said were you joking when you said Happy Families is a good game?
I think it was on the basis I'm playing it with my 5-year-old son. It's a fun little game. Yeah.
I agree completely. Sorry, I wasn't.
No, I wasn't joking at all.
It's no good unless you're playing with more than 2 though.
Oh no. Well, yeah, there was always it was usually my mum or my wife. As well.
There's some nice little bluffing in there. There's a take that. There's a bit of
a little bit of deduction as well. Kind of thinking like, oh, hang on, they asked for that. So certainly his level of understanding and getting the hang of deduction.
Work out if you're being sarcastic because I was going to disagree with you. If you for a kids game, I mean, the thing is, games you play with younger kids, you're never going to be like. This is why things like Mice and Mystics, people go mad about Mice and Mystics because they think, oh, it's a game for kids that adults can play, and they don't actually realise that the kids aren't having fun when they play. In my opinion, or at least my kids certainly weren't.
No,
my kids.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
So if you get it too much that the adults look, I know some people who. He must have been about 6, and he was wandering around the games day because he had a games day, and they were there, saying, "Does anyone want to go and play Agricola with me and my mum and dad?" And it's like, no one wants to play Agricola with you and your mum and dad. To be honest, because your mum and dad are the type of people who make their 6-year-old play Agricola.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with making your 26-year-old play Agricola. But
Agricola's a good game, actually.
No, it's massively overrated, as are all these games.
I'll give you it's overrated, but it's a good game.
No, all right. I will go back to as I first said. I respect it, but I don't like it. It's my problem more than its problem.
Yeah, well, that's different to be massive overrated. Overrated. Did you say massively overrated when you came on the podcast?
Yes.
Good club. Yeah. What an idiot. I hope I called you an idiot at the time.
You are? No,
I hope I called you an idiot
at the time. You were borderline agreed with me on lots of aspects because I kind of turned it into all of his games were.
Yeah. Well, I agree that most of his games, Uwe Rosenberg's games, are a bit overrated. Jim Crimmins!
I'm with you, Luke.
What are you on about?
Overrated. See, Marcus has got me. Marcus knows. He gets it.
Aquamarine Arrow comic. Sorry, Mike, I'm not doing very good. Luke's meant to be looking at the comments because I've got to wander over here.
Why am I suddenly in charge of the comments?
Because
what?
Asswipe, you've got the controls of the whole system. You're riding the desk. I can see you from here riding the desk on Skype.
If people could see, yeah, he's sticking fingers up at me now. Ladies and
You
germs.
could still look at the bloody screen, you twat.
Can't. My eyes are
Oh,
my eyes are bad.
my eyes, oh, dick.
Well, when you get to my age, then you'll know. Well, you won't get to my age.
Jesus Christ.
You'll be
I've
dead.
got kids,
You'll be
you
dead.
twat.
Well, it's not my fault you've got kids. Right. So it's, well, you say that your kids. So is Frostgrave a generic system able to play any minis? Yes, it is, Matt. You just need the rule book. Oh dear. Jim's sitting at hospital wait to hear his 9-year-old broke his wrist. I apologise. Not apologise, but my empathy
Yeah, my son
goes with you.
broke both of his wrists before he was 3, I think it was. Which honestly made me think I was going to get a visit from social services.
Yeah. There's a minis game called Aetherverse that was sort of that, but it was so easy to break the system.
That was the one. Is that not the one we were talking? What was that one you told me about, Dan, that you were looking at and you thought it looked quite cool?
Every system looks cool.
No, it had some. Was that not Etherverse? No, I can't.
My friend wants me to. What does my friend want me to buy at the moment? My friend Rob is trying to persuade me to buy. Let's have a look. He sent me the eBay link. Because he's not nice.
Civilizations of the
Core Space.
Oh no, I think that looks freaking awful.
Does it?
With the fact that
Is that because you don't like the terrain?
no, I do like the terrain very much so actually. I can't remember why. Somebody told me about it, and they put me right off it now. What the hell was it they said? Well, I think it's because the base set is only good for 2 players. I think it was. That was one thing.
2-player skirmish game. What do you expect it to be?
Well, I don't think it looks like. Is it a 2-player skirmish game?
As I'm aware,
I
yeah.
thought it was a bit more like a space
Maybe.
dungeon crawly kind of thing. Was Luke thinking?
Well, you
of
haven't got more than
Fields?
one friend anyway.
What?
You haven't got more than one friend anyway.
But this actually wasn't a friend, but
Didn't think it would be a friend. No, I'm not going to buy it anyway. But yeah. Frostgrave is very, very rules sound, Marcus. However,
bye bye,
I
Mike.
think I said this. Oh, is he off? He's going to a.
Was he? Someone said bye to him, so he must have said bye somewhere. I'm heading out soon. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he's going to a concert or something like that.
Finishing off your periwinkle arrow. Oh.
He's a dickhead, isn't he?
No, I think he's quite right. You've
He's a
chosen a
dickhead.
terrible colour for that thing.
Yeah, I'm becoming less and less happy with it. I think, as always, the wash might save it. Is my hope. What was I saying about Frostgrave?
You were saying something about the rules.
Yeah, same old boring shit, probably. I was just saying that Frostgrave, the rules is really good, but it's also very, very lethal and very, very swingy.
Yeah, you've got to accept, like you were explaining to me the other day, you've got to be able to accept a dice roll that just screws you. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So,
be gracious when yours do it to somebody else.
well, I'm not sure about that bit. My friend Rob, right? I got 3 treasure chests out of 5, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so because the aim of the game is to get these.
When you've got them, are they
treasure.
yours, or can they be still taken from you?
No, I've got them. They're in my. They've taken them off the table.
Gotcha.
They're in my possession, and I'm pegging it off the board with the rest of my warband. And with 2 arrows, he kills my bloody wizard.
That's just the bit you were telling me.
Yeah, he killed my wizard. One arrow shot him right through the eye, and then his next go, he bloody kills my apprentice wizard by shooting her through the bloody eye as well. That now she was a bit more. I'd made some foolish choices with her, so her hit points are very low. But still, so he kills the 2 main guys. The 2 people who are pretty much irreplaceable, really. I mean, you can replace an apprentice, but it's difficult. And everyone else is expendable in this game. You just buy more of them for next game. So because it's a campaign game, so he kills those 2, right?
I thought you said they
And
weren't
then-
actually killed. They were just.
Well, the potential of being killed, you have to roll from afterwards,
Right,
don't
I
you? And
see
if it's
what
a
you mean.
1 or a 2, they're dead. And if it's underneath a 8, then they've got a
Some
mortal,
detrimental effect,
serious
yeah.
injury and all that kind of stuff. So it's all that kind of rubbish. But they had the potential of being killed, is the issue. So I took it very good, gracefully. I went and locked myself in the toilet for, half an hour, then came out and stuff like that. So anyway, my bear, which was summoned, right? So I didn't even have to pay for him. I thought, right, you. So I'm going to send Gentle Ben over, and he ate his wizard, and he had the cheek to complain about it, and I was quite clear in the fact that if he hadn't eaten my bloody wizards, if he hadn't shot my wizards, I'd have left his guys alone and just run off the table. But I had no choice other than to exact revenge for the death of my guy.
Fair to be honest.
Yeah,
Tit for
no,
tat,
he was.
all that.
He was
Eye for an eye.
sorry. I'm pretending he was absolutely fine about it. But it's an amazingly good game. It's just so chaotic. But you've got to find humour in that chaos. It's not a flaw of the game. It's just a feature of the game.
And just accept it. Just accept the fact that stuff will happen.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to accept that. Oh, I've messed this guy up. It's quite difficult to accept that when it's fine when it's your first game and you're not really attached to your wizard and stuff. But when you've leveled everyone up for,
Yeah. I mean, I've had that
it gets a bit.
in Necromunda campaigns where you've got some guy like your leader or your heavy who's some absolute badass or some guy who's turned into your star player, and they die and you're just like, oh well, that's shit.
Well, that's usually how all my Blood Bowl campaigns have finished. Is that somebody's best player gets killed? They go out. I'm not playing anymore. Then not in a very childish way, but there's no more enjoyment in this because I can't win because everyone else has got all the. You know what I mean? Well, a little bit of childishness, I suppose. It's never been me, to be fair, but I could definitely understand where they're coming from when they're suddenly nerfed and everyone else is really good. It's a bit.
Yeah, it is.
It's a bit shitty to play that game, isn't it? Yeah. So, yeah. I don't think I've made the right decisions with this guy.
Sad. I don't think you have either.
It's not as teal as it looks on the thing, but
It does look really teal though.
it's not really teal.
You actually,
Okay.
I tell you what, he's starting to look like Green Goblin.
He looks a bit like Green Goblin, I'll give you that. It's not really teal, though.
No, it's fine. I accept
Right.
it is. I'm just saying, it just really, really does look teal.
It's emerald. It's more, the thing I'm thinking I don't like is his chest ab things are merging into his green tights. I might find a different colour for those chest abs.
Like you said, shade, wash may well save him.
Yeah.
It's amazing what it can do. The old liquid talent.
It's incredible, especially if you're just doing tabletop standard
Oh yeah.
as well. It can't rescue everything if you're wanting to do really good quality because you lose. You need to go back and do shading and stuff, don't you? But if you're just doing tabletop quality, then it can really, really just rescue it. Speaking of just doing tabletop quality, this entire bow is going to be the same colour. Can't be asked to do.
I'm with you, Marcus. I haven't read Good Omens for a long time, and I just finished a series today, so I shall be going to watch Good Omens next, I think. The series I finished today was The Boys.
All right, did it end
I
well?
did it in a day and a bit. I did the whole lot, just blitzed it. Did it end well?
I've read the comics, so theoretically I should know how it ends, but I don't because I can't remember, and I'm a bit worried because
I would say it's set up for a second season. I'd be
Right.
surprised
Well,
if
they
that
do-
was the ending.
there were definite subsequent comics,
Right.
and they got more and more ridiculous as time went on, to the point where I just thought, nah, which is what Garth Ennis always does as a comic book writer. He pushes it and pushes it and pushes it, and you're thinking, wow, this is edgy, and then you think it switches from being edgy to being the creation of a 14-year-old boy.
I remember you talking about Garth Ennis with Lee before.
Yeah.
What should I know him from again? What was he? Was he kind of like
Well,
famous
you
for?
probably well, but Preacher's the other one.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But he's mainly a comic book writer. But Preacher's been made into a TV
that's
show.
what I mean. What comic books
Yeah.
is he? What's he most known for?
But he's most known for pushing. I mean, the TV series is. Yes, the TV series does differ a lot from the comics, and it does.
What we talk about?
The boys.
The boys does, right?
I don't know about Preacher because I haven't seen it. Preacher used to be my favourite comic for a long time until it just got a bit too ridiculous. The boys does differ. I can't remember exactly how much. It's been a while since I read it. I read it first.
Preacher to just start on the second series.
All right, I think it goes really slow. Lee was telling me.
I didn't like the first series. Kind of, I was just a bit like, maybe that was it. I can't really remember what my issue was, but it probably was something that was a bit just like, right, come on, something needs to happen here because I'm a bit nothing to grab me yet.
I'm probably not going to bother watching it, to be honest.
What Preacher?
I don't. Yeah,
I've heard it's very good.
Well, it used to be my favourite comic, but I've read the comic in its entirety, and I can remember what happens there. And I don't need to see I watch so little TV, Luke, that to
be fair,
to watch.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
To watch something that I really kind of. Yeah, no. I'm trying to cut down on YouTube a little bit, or at least get a bit more nourishing YouTube. But yeah, no, But the Boys TV show was so much more tamer than the less funny than the comic. The closest it came was that dolphin scene.
That was fun.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot more of that kind of stuff going on in the comic.
Like I texted you though, I was like, there was a few points in the Boys where I was like, "Oh, this is actually quite hard to watch."
Yes, uncomfortable.
Yeah, and opens in that first episode with some quite uncomfortable bits, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
And I'm not usually like that. Is never really an issue for me.
Well, it's a show that doesn't matter what network it would be on, it could never be shown in its current form on network TV, isn't it?
No way.
I mean, there's far too much C words going on for a start.
Which is surprising as well.
Just left, right, and centre.
It's
which
weird to hear it from American voices, I always think.
Yeah. And even weird to hear it from whatever the hell Carl Urban was doing.
Were they making a joke that he was actually Australian and he sounded British to them?
No. He should have been British. He should have been a Cockney.
That was a terrible accent then.
It was, but isn't he an amazing actor? Even though he's got a terrible accent.
Yeah, one of my favourites. Yeah, I really like him. But then I'm a big Dredd fan. So,
well, you can, and I think
we had this discussion. I think that he's done so many really good varied roles, kind of
thing. The Umbrella Chronicles, yeah, they should be coming out again soon, shouldn't it? There should be the next edition of the Umbrella Chronicles coming soon, I think.
I need to go back and give that its second try because it just, for some reason, it just. I was kind of like I was enjoying it, but I didn't do that thing, which is usually how I end up watching a series by like I did with The Boys over the last day and a half, where I just blitz through it.
Power through it.
Yeah, and it probably just didn't catch me at the right time, and it wasn't that I didn't like it. I just
right. I've just discovered the colour I should have painted Green Arrow in the first place. Never mind. Just do his chest that way instead. I really enjoyed the Umbrella Chronicles, although I recognise the flaws in it but I really enjoyed it.
I really like the characters, or a lot of the characters. Very interesting, and
Yeah,
I really liked the the like druggy.
yeah.
He was.
You're not very original.
You what?
Everyone liked him. You're not very original.
Well, I'm just saying he was a very cool, well done character. I really like the way the guy played him, and yeah, he was.
Yeah, he's an English guy. Isn't
Yes, he is. I'm trying to remember what he was in over here.
he was in Misfits.
That's it. Thank you.
Not that I've seen many of Misfits.
No, I don't think I've watched much of it. I think I watched one when I was recommended to watch it.
Yeah, Lee and I used
From
to
what I
do
understand, he was essentially the same character in Misfits, if I remember rightly.
a bit more wise ass, but yeah. Don't, he wasn't as druggy, I don't think.
Right.
Lee and I used to do a podcast in the depths of time where we used to, every week we used to watch a different pilot episode from a TV show, and then talk about it and talk about whether we'd watch any more of it or anything like that. So that's the only episode of Misfits I've seen is a pilot episode. It was good. I'll tell you what, it's amazing if you've not seen it, and I haven't watched all of it at all. In fact, I've only watched most of the first season. Is Justified? Have you seen Justified?
No, I don't even. I can't even think what it is. I don't.
It's a police show. I mean, I am a bit of a sucker for a police show.
Yeah, so you're already losing me, but yeah, go on.
He's a Texas Ranger.
Okay.
It's like a modern day Western, but he's such.
Now you got me back a bit there.
It's Timothy Oliphant.
That name
You know who he
rings a bell.
is.
Yeah, that name rings a bell.
He got famous for doing a TV show called Justified. It's amazing. It's Justified. Absolutely amazing.
What's it on?
It's on Netflix now. It didn't used to be, but it's not Netflix. Sorry, Prime.
Oh right.
Prime now. It's amazing. It's Justified. Really, really good. That's the one thing we watched the pilot episode of. We might watch the first two actually. That I ended up watching loads more of, and then it disappeared.
Did you?
All right, okay, that's good. I might have to listen to that. Jim saying last Shut Up and Sit Down podcast, Matt Lees mentioned problematic use of mental illness in gaming. Yeah, they're the only people. Shut Up and Sit Down, although I do have some issues with them, just because I'm a grumpy bastard and still engaged in class warfare. They're the only people who I've ever heard mention it. All the other people, all the other people. You just ignore the issue completely. Even those who are very strongly opinionated on prejudice and stuff like that. Yeah. Enjoyed the first couple of seasons of Misfits. Yeah, I've never seen it really. Hello, John. He's painting Mansions of Madness.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, join me in your trying to work out if there's actually any features on the faces of the model. That's the similar challenge with Batman. Although Batman are better than the Mansion of Madness models. Although they're quick, aren't they? The one good thing about Mansions of Madness is quick. I mean, that's the advantage of these Batman models, you know, Luke, is that they're only like 2 or 3 different colours. You can just get through.
I hope you looked at.
But remember,
I hope you looked at your webcam then.
No, I didn't.
Oh, well,
Sorry.
there you go.
I skipped getting review coverage. Deranged. Yes, you did, Marcus. I remember you said deranged. Ugh. See, that's just not right, is it?
I bet lobotomy didn't come off very well on that thing.
No.
Never played it, but
No, lobotomy. No. Although I made a joke. I was on 5 games for Doomsday the other day.
What's that?
And 5 games for Doomsday? Are you joking? I was going to say. I was on the Guild episode, and what Ben does is he just launches into this improvisational bit, which is very alarming and scary.
Oh, that you're also supposed to join in on.
Yeah, which you do, but you just didn't. You're having a normal chat, and then he just goes blah, and you go ah.
imagine that is
'cause
quite
I'm not.
disconcerting.
It is, yeah. I'm not a natural improviser as it is anyway. And I think I made a joke about. Well, I did make a joke about lobotomies, about because he's got this thing where I'm a zombie,
Right.
and so I said I'd set up a lobotomy tasting clinic or something. Obviously, because you eat breakfast and stuff like that. Which, yeah, but I wish when you finish, you think,
Oh,
oh
I shouldn't
man, I
have said
wish
that.
I should. Yeah, not in a kind of I'm going to get in trouble,
No,
but it's
just
just kind of a
ah,
it's kind of
yeah.
oh no, that was there's lines, and I
Yeah.
went past my own personal one really,
Got-
without it wasn't a
It happens.
mindful.
We'll do
No,
it. You know.
I don't mind crossing lines, but I insist that I'm mindful that they're
Yeah.
there. If that makes any sense. It's like the whole Mombasa debate and stuff like that. I will play Mombasa and things, but I'm
What is it in
aware.
Mombasa
I,
that's a bad thing? Is
Mombasa is colonialism,
Right.
and stuff, but more kind of making money off enslaving Africans. I
Right.
think, though it's never massively explicitly said, it definitely is in there. Um, so I do play it.
I haven't played it. I would
No.
because history's history. Shit happened. You know.
Well, yeah, I think it's not really a conversation I want to get into, if I'm honest.
I'm with you there.
It's full of minefields, but I think it's important to be aware of the minefield while you're treading into it. That's all, and make some personal choices, which I didn't do. I kind of stumbled into the minefield that I'd laid for myself with Ben, so I was annoyed at myself. I'm just trying to load up Board Game Geek so I can look at Deranged, but it looks the very sound of it sounds.
Yeah, I mean, deranged. Yeah, if you just said, "Oh, have you played deranged?" I wouldn't necessarily think, "Oh, this is going to treat mental illness really badly." But now that we're having, well, no, I mean, just as in,
it wouldn't be. It wouldn't come to you.
It wouldn't necessarily be my
my
first thought, But now that we're talking about it in at that, I think, oh yeah, if I was obviously stood next to you and somebody said, "Have you played deranged?" then it probably would, yes, come into my mind that this is probably going to be really tactless,
Yeah, that was my first thought, but I suppose, as I say, it's survival game.
Not like Marcus says, until you really raised the point about it on various podcasts and whatever, and these and stuff. I just had never really looked at the fact that, like you said, the mental health, the minority and disregarded kind of.
Well, I think part of the reason,
but you know what I mean.
I think part of the reason for it is the reason mental health is treated is because they use so much Cthulhu. It's usually embroiled in the Cthulhu mythos.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not judging or saying anyone shouldn't play these things. I just think they need to be mindful of it when they're playing it. That's all.
Yeah, and I think
mindful.
That's the point. Just people just don't think about it, not through any malice or intended ignorance, as it were. Just doesn't dawn on them,
Yeah.
And that was certainly the case for me. I just never really gave it that bit of thought, which is certainly, it's opened my eyes in that sense,
Yeah, and as Jim said, it's and it's in games I like as well. I mean, I love Mansions of Madness, although I sold mine, not because of that reason though.
Just because you basically sold all of them.
Well, yeah, but I sold Mansions of Madness because I looked at how much the expansion was,
Yeah, I know.
and I was so outraged that I ended up selling my copy because it felt sullied. It was like 80 quid for the expansion or something like that. It was horrendous.
I struggle to defend Fantasy Flight anymore.
I know. Do you know? You listened to that
I'm
episode
halfway through. I've listened to all of the banter, which was fine and good. And I'm about halfway through Universal Head's bit.
Right.
He has
talked about
Fantasy Flight. Mentioned Fantasy Flight being very corporate and.
I think he's spot on.
Oh
I think he really was.
Yeah. It's been sort of growing over the years with them, and there's no getting around it,
And the thing I liked that he said about it was this lack of
Yeah, that
generosity in
was
their game.
yes. I completely agree. That
You
was a
don't get the
very good
idea
way of
that
describing it.
yeah, the thing about they're not getting the excitement about releasing a game. It's all about. I mean, it has to be all about the money. You can't begrudge people for
No,
making
you
money,
can't
but
begrudge them, but it's also, it's you can begrudge them to a point because it wasn't always the case. Like he said, Fantasy Flight games used to be a thing you were excited about, but now they've turned into a thing that you're like, oh, okay, I know I'm going to need expansions for this, and like you said, there's a good chance a second dice set will be handy, you know.
yeah,
And it's just all these caveats that you know come with a Fantasy Flight game now. And to be honest, there's probably a lot of those things in amongst the hobby now that we, you know, that have crept in that commercialism aspect of it. But then also we have thousands and thousands and thousands of games to choose from, which is the other aspect of it. You know, whether all of them are worth
yeah,
choosing on
yeah.
is
And there are
the
games
flip side of
that
it.
put there are games that put everything in the kitchen sink on and completely unnecessary. I mean, I played something last night, which is a popular game. Well, a new hot game that's just been released, just come out of Kickstarter. I can't remember what it's called. Marcus will know. What's it called, Marcus?
Okay, the real, yeah, you really is.
Marcus, it is a game. Half of the game is above the water, half the
Jaws.
game's below it. No, it's not Jaws.
Underwater Cities.
No, I'm playing that tomorrow actually.
I knew you were going to be playing that, so I was
It's just come out on Kickstarter.
Huh?
Chaos in the Old World. Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, I love Chaos in the Old World. One of my top.
It's a good
one
game.
Of my top tens.
One of your top tens. How many top tens you got?
10.
Oh, right. Luke, I'm trusting you with this live stream now. I'm going to do some ablutions.
Oh, have I got to mute?
Oh, no, I'm mute. I can mute myself. I just forgot to press it last time. I'll mute myself. Right.
What game is he?
See you later, Jim.
What game is he talking about? Bye bye, Jim. All the best. What game is he talking about, Marcus? Both boxes for. Yeah, I mean, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and I didn't even consider buying Outer Rim because I could see that it was essentially. It looked too much like Firefly, which was one of the biggest disappointments in my gaming history, I would say. Because that game is just cack. If you like it, brilliant, good for you. I wish I liked it as much as you did, whoever you are. And yeah, I just thought it just looked like a dull mess that was gonna annoy me in many ways. And although it's been, I think, reasonably well received, I think it will be forgotten about very soon, for the most part, if it hasn't already. Well, that is good. I'm glad it does, really get the Star Wars feels from it, Marcus. But I've got Star Wars Rebellion for that. I don't need Outer Rim as well. I'm not a big pick up and deliver fan either. I kind of want to like pick up and deliver more than I do. Yeah, I didn't think you'd have a clue what the hell he was talking about. A Kickstarter recently that had an above ground and below ground bit. What the bloody... Oh, Artemis Project. That, I think, probably is the one he's talking about. I think you're right there, Dean. Yeah. Dan,
Oh,
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't put my
Oh,
headphones
hang
on
on.
yet, though.
Why is your video shrunk? Sorry, I didn't notice. Why has it done that? That's weird.
It is Artemis Project.
There
Well
we
done,
go.
Dean.
Sorry, I didn't realise how long his video was small.
Huh?
I think your video shrunk for some reason. I don't know why. You just suddenly looked up and you were teeny tiny.
Are you elongating
I
it?
have elongated you a little bit. Yes.
So is it warped? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, vaguely, probably. It's,
What
would you like it?
people won't be able to see my incredible painting. No, it's fine. I don't care.
I love Star Wars Rebellion, Marcus. I think it's just an amazing game. Absolutely amazing.
I'm guessing I'm not muted anymore, am I?
No, well, I can hear you.
I couldn't remember if I pressed the mute button before.
So yes, Artemis Project, was it any good, Dan?
It was good. It was
So
good.
what's this? I didn't realise this had this above the ground, above the water, and below the water bit. I knew it was a water-themed game, but I knew very little about it outside that.
It's all bollocks.
Right.
It's all bollocks. I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, this is one of those games that you could call it whatever the hell you want, and people whinge if you call it farming.
Right.
So they just called it above the, I don't know, Artemis Project. It had very. I like theme. Obviously, I play a lot of thematic games, and you know, I really like. I really kind of semi-hero worship Peter, so that was why I was really excited to get him on.
Like you did.
But, yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that, though.
No, there was absolutely nothing wrong with that. It was actually quite nice to listen to. Well, I'm still listening to it, but it was nice to hear you kind of slightly fawning over him a bit. I liked it.
Well,
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as you said.
He's one of these.
If I ever met Marcus in public, I don't think I'd be able to talk.
No, exactly. He's one of these content creators who's been at it for ages.
Yeah.
Doesn't embroil himself in the bullshit.
Also, doesn't get the credit he deserves.
He doesn't get the credit he deserves, and he actually, as I said on the podcast, provides such an invaluable service for free. With those, with these
years.
Has done for absolutely years.
I have known about the Esoteric Order for a long damn time.
Exactly, yeah. Dean saying he was hoping it wasn't good. It is good. You don't need it though. It's a it's a dice placement, worker placementy type game. More complex than say that space one. What the hell's that space one called? Alien Frontiers. I've still got that actually. More complex than Alien Frontiers.
Why have you still got that? Why have you still got that?
Mainly because no one bought it.
Oh, really?
I think, and so I didn't.
That used to get.
Yeah, I know. It's a good game actually. Have you played it?
No, I never have played it. No, that was always wanted to because it always sounded like a good game.
It stands up well. It's still is a good game. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But more complicated than that. It's quite nasty, both unintentionally and intentionally. Your player order really makes a massive difference, and the ways of manipulating player order. But if you're going first, bizarrely enough, unusually enough rather, then you're at a massive disadvantage. The later you go in the turnaround, the better, because there's kind of all sorts of sniping things you can do by leaving stuff till the last moment and things like that. But so that's one thing I thought was really interesting. But the thing I didn't like about it, and granted it could be because it was my first play, and I just didn't quite appreciate how much of a point salad game it was, is it's sort of an engine builder type thing in that you're getting buildings and stuff like that. And then the buildings aren't quite as... Oh, I don't know. It just felt 2 point salady. It felt like I was building stuff up and then everyone scored points on other stuff and overtook me. And it's like, oh, okay, so that wasn't particularly important at all then, really. But the reason I was mentioning it originally was because some of the bits in that are amazing. I mean, completely superfluous, and I wouldn't pay money for them. But I'm happy for my friends.
Yeah,
my friends
You're
have
happy to play with them when they're in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. My two I don't know if wealthy is the right word, but they've just bought a Geekinson table.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Paul and Fiona. Geekinson table.
They finally got all of it, yeah.
I can't remember.
Like,
I think most of it's got. They got it.
Stuff.
They got it for cheaper because it's an X display, which is fun.
You'd expect all of it would arrive then.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Even more so.
I think they got the table. They just did a lot of bargaining for the chairs, which weren't X display. I think that's what the problems were. And think I don't know. Anyway, they got it for cheaper because it was X display, which is great. But it still costs a lot of money, I think, because it's amazing. It's the biggest one they do, and they were just showing me all its features, and they said, "Oh yeah, look at this," and then they took the tabletop off it. It's got a TV underneath it.
Oh, we got one of them. Wow.
Yeah, TV for role playing games and stuff like that.
Would you like that, being a role player?
No, because it would require preparation of making maps and stuff. The reason you do it is because you can put a map on the TV and then you put. But I couldn't be asked with all that. I would like it if someone else did all the maps.
Well, can't you just download all those sort of things? Can't you just download those sort of things from somewhere?
Yeah, I suppose you can. I don't know where you download them from though. There's lots of really good mapping programs and stuff like that these days. What the campaign I'm playing at the moment, my friend's made his own dungeon tiles, which really kind of brought it home to me how good of a dungeon crawler D&D is. You know what I mean? Because we're crawling around this dungeon with these dungeon tiles, but we've got all the flexibility of a D&D game going on.
Yeah.
And I just, you just think to yourself, well, why would you
play this? The best dungeon crawl game is Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah.
Well, exactly. It is.
Having never played it, but I know enough to know that it is. And then.
So you're there playing it, and you're thinking, all these dungeon crawl games, most of these dungeon crawl games, are all just an effort to replicate
D&D.
what this is anyway.
Yeah.
So why don't you just play this?
Yeah.
Which is
and the reason I say it is because dungeon crawl games were probably some of the favourite games me and the guys played when we were kids. You know, we were massive fans of Warhammer Quest. We all pretty much, I think, started via Hero Quest. So they were kind of ingrained in us, in that sense. But yeah,
the big advantage. I mean, the big disadvantages, which is what I was thinking when I was playing Frostgrave today. Actually, I was thinking what I really should start doing is having every Wednesday night is my games night with my son, because I don't play games with him very often, and we always enjoy it when we do. And we've got a number of games now that we like playing, so I really should have a games night with my son every Wednesday night. And then I thought, we could play Frostgrave, and I thought, but it takes so long to get out and set up. Whereas a dungeon crawler, granted, takes and like D&D takes so long to prepare, and you need the people to do it. So that's why probably dungeon crawl, Descent and stuff exists, because it's just easier to do, but it's not as good.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. There's a bit of a pain in the arse. It's very faffy, to find all the tiles. I mean, if you've got X amount of expansions for Descent, finding tile 3B and 8C and 9F, it's ball ache.
I had mine in a filing system, like one of accordion files.
That's a bloody good idea.
But and Brady, who worked on Descent and whose brother invented Descent, Brady Sadler, he would say the same, which is why
they
Alter Quest,
and
they stuck with the Hero Quest.
Until I didn't back Alter Quest because I just didn't feel I needed to, but it looked cool. I liked a lot of the aspects of it, but I really the which one came on the podcast, because only one of them did, didn't they?
Brady.
I found it really interesting when he was talking about the whole kind of fixed board that you could do what you like with. I was like, what? That's a bloody good point. I never really thought how versatile and clever that Hero Quest board was.
Exactly.
I think it was a great idea to replicate that and kind of bring it back.
Yeah. Because I think the tiles just give the illusion of versatility rather than the actual practical.
Yeah.
I mean, they are versatile, but so is a board with loads of rooms that you only use some of, and each
each adventure. I mean, it's realistically the same because there's only so many ways you can put tiles together, and it's such a pain in the ass to get them all out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So we're having a fantastic time with D&D as just a pure dungeon crawler. Because there's been some role playing in it. It's a lot easier to role play in it than it is to role play in Descent. You know, there's mechanics to do whatever you want. I'm a massive fan of 5th edition D&D. I think it's amazing.
I really want to. I said to my friends about doing another one shot, running a one shot for them again. I haven't done the End of the World one, and I'm really, really tempted to do a 5th edition D&D one.
Yeah, I mean the issue is, isn't it? It's getting everyone together at the same time.
That's fine. We planned well ahead for it, and kind of thing. As it's just a one shot, that's fine. That's why we would do just a one shot, because the issue of trying to get an ongoing campaign regularly when we've got jobs and kids and blah blah blah. That's that little bit harder. But everybody booking a Sunday or a Saturday for a good few hour session. Kind of 5-6 hours or whatever. That's not too hard to do.
No, yeah, yeah.
There's a very handy app called Doodle Poll for that sort of thing.
Okay, I'll look into that.
You basically the person who creates it puts in the initial dates, like the 23rd.
I can do these dates,
and then you invite everybody who you want to or whatever, and they tick what ones they can do, what ones they can't do, what ones they might be able to do at a push, and then eventually, so you can very clearly see what one everybody can do. It's a really handy little app.
That sounds really, really good.
Doodle Poll.
Mark, I'll have a look at that. Marcus asked if he should get a review copy of Artemis. I would. I think it's a solid game. It's a game that if I was back in wanting to grow my collection, I would be tempted to buy.
Oh, you like that
Well, I liked it. Yeah, it was a really good game. I rated it an 8 on Board Game Geek after one play, but I don't care. I don't. And Dean said, I've been calling a lot, and we hear about my tabletop games fairly often, but have I managed to get my board games to where I want them? I don't really have. To be honest, I don't know. Theoretically, yes. Sometimes I miss not having options to play at home.
You've still got a reasonable amount there.
Still got a reasonable amount, but they're all very. All the games I've got, they're not like these are my favourite games. They're games
that's true. Your collection is weird in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. My collection is games that I like that I'm unlikely to be able to play someone else's copy of, basically. So on the odd occasion, I've thought I would like to take a game to Games Day, but I don't have anything to take. But then I go to Games Day and play someone else's stuff. Like I've gamed. I'm gaming a lot this week. I went gaming. I went out to my friends on Monday, and I played the Artemis Project. I played Frostgrave, which is today, and then tomorrow Mike's coming over after work, and we're playing Underwater. The Grand Pillow. I haven't seen it for ages, actually. I'm playing Underwater Cities, which I'm really looking forward to. Cause I've got a feeling that game's going to sing at 2. I played it at 3 before. Yeah. I don't know if it's your type of game, Luke. It's a bit UAE, actually.
Is it? Right. Okay.
It's a bit of a heavy Euro.
I'd like to play because it's got a lot of buzz and.
Yeah, well, I think deservedly so. I think the quality is definitely there now. Whether it's for everybody is obviously it's not going to be for everybody. The quality of some of the components is a bit shoddy, but Mike's got a load of stuff 3D printed. And then I'm playing possibly again on Thursday because it's games night on Thursday. So if I can tolerate the other people at my board game group, I might go down there. And then Friday's night off, and then Saturday it's got an entire games day because it's my friend Rob's birthday. So we're going to go around to play some probably Ameritrashy games and some role playing games.
That's a bloody good day.
It does. It sounds
Or
like a good week, doesn't
sorry.
it? But the reason it is a week is because my family are away this week. You see, that's why.
Are they? This is why.
This is why I'm feeling lonely.
You asked to do this.
Lowering
Right.
myself to do this. So they're all in Portsmouth.
Portsmouth? What they doing in Portsmouth?
It's not bloody Portsmouth
I don't know
accent.
what it was. I just...
In fact, didn't someone else say they were from Portsmouth? Was it Dean? Someone said, "Oh, Marcus. Good night, Marcus.
Oh, bye,
Sorry."
buddy. See you, mate.
Someone said they were in Portsmouth painting. Was it Dean? I'm pretty sure it was Dean. It could have been John. Portsmouth, yeah, John's from Portsmouth. Hello, John. In Portsmouth, I should have said. He could pop round to the caravan site. They're visiting family. Kerry's got half her family's in not Port Glasgow, Greenock, which is near Port Glasgow, in Scotland, and the other half is in Portsmouth. So they're kind of opposite ends of the. And I rarely go when they visit because I am antisocial.
You're a miserable beggar.
I am. I don't enjoy people. Well, I don't. Yeah, I would be actively anxious and distressed. So my wife, she is happy for me to not go, which I am forever grateful for. I'm not convinced I've painted the right things red there, but
I thought you weren't going to paint any of it red.
for some reason the flights of arrows always have to be red for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Fair enough.
it's one of my things.
Each to their own.
Yeah, but I wasn't painting the right flights of the arrows. I was painting the end of the shaft, the bit where it hooks on, the knock. Is it?
Yes.
So I'm going to repaint that grey. Sorry if I keep moving. What are you painting? I've not even looked at what you're painting. Oh, Pompey. Got a nice T-shirt for my wife. Like, oh right, okay, cool. Was it a This Game Is Broken T-shirt? Such a shame that podcast ended a year ago, isn't it?
Never gets old.
Never gets old. Never gets old. I shouldn't have spat there. I didn't. That's certainly not my attitude towards it. That was just for comic effect. I am glad they are still going, and I am friends with the vast majority of them. Oh, what am I doing? There we go. Yeah, she's in Pompey. I've got my friend Lee Wardle's from Pompey as well. He's it's a big naval place, isn't it? And he's from I think his dad was in the Navy or something like that.
Speaking of This Game Is Broken, I can't remember which Murphy boy it was that he did a live painting the other day. Was it Nick?
He did, didn't he? Yeah. I mean, Nick's always said he'd do it with me on here. The issue is, he's
Time zones.
time zones as well. He's got a job that he does a lot, and plus he does all This Game Is Broken stuff and the Earth Brothers stuff and the Death by Monsters stuff. So we just haven't been able to. Because I was going to stay up and watch him do, chat to him on that, but it was like 3 o'clock in the morning for us.
I was up.
Yeah. Did you watch
I
it?
watched a little bit of it. Yeah. Yeah, we should do one. I would have no issue with doing one at some weird time for us.
Well, I would. I'd need my bloody sleep.
No, but I don't necessarily mean we could do one like early in the morning or something.
Well, we should do stuff early in the morning, and that's what we should do for because we've got quite a lot of Antipodean viewers, and so we should early morning. In fact, if Dean's in Sydney, God's sake, man, actually it won't be that. It'll be quite early in the morning for you, will it? In Sydney? Don't know.
No, it's Yeah, it's probably like mid-morning there, isn't it? About 8 hours, isn't it, Sydney? 8 hours difference, so...
Dunno.
Oh no, is it early afternoon?
No, it's not afternoon, dickhead. It might be. I'll have a look.
Oh no,
I'll
sorry,
have a look
no, I'm going the wrong way. Sorry, yes.
No, it's yeah.
He's
He's in the
7:30
future.
a.m.
Not,
Yeah, so yeah, not too bad.
Me and Lee used to podcast.
You used to do it early in the morning, didn't you? Yeah.
Well, we used to do it in the morning, but when we first started, I think we did it at my night, his morning.
Right. So kind of this sort of
It's
time,
never-
sort of thing.
Yeah, it's never easy, really.
There is no easy way around it. It's sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Although Peter was strangely easy, because it was 9 p.m. my time. No, 8 p.m. my time rather. 9 a.m. his time, and 5 p.m. American
Not
time.
perfect.
Yeah, he couldn't get. Considering
Considering how much
That's
a ball
it.
like that should have been.
exactly, yeah.
That was perfect, yeah.
And so New Zealand is obviously a lot easier. Hello, Super McDad.
G'day. Hello, Super McDad.
G'day. He's not. No,
G'day.
he's not.
Sorry, we just
Super. I think Super McDad is Australian as well. I think Super
Is
McDad
he?
is American.
This is sadly another one. I don't recognise the name, so I'm not sure.
No, he's
Kiwi. Kiwi.
Is he Kiwi? He said that.
He said 9:30 in New Zealand.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm presuming he's in New Zealand, not just a bloody good at knowing time zones and stuff.
Time zones in New Zealand. Ah, there we go. My nozzle fell out again, but I've managed to rescue it. Yeah, Kiwi. Whereabouts in New Zealand? Really, no Christchurch and Mount Doom.
I've been to lots of New Zealand.
Oh, shut your face! Never bloody. It's like when you mention
Dunedin.
America.
I've been to what? It's like when what?
When you mention bloody America to Matthew Jude. Although he's been to New Zealand as well, hasn't
When I mentioned America to Matthew Dew, I've only been to Vegas. When did I mention America to
he?
him?
I'm saying, talking to you, mentioning the place.
I
It's
see.
like,
He's like talking to Matthew Jude about America. Right, gotcha.
well, yeah, you just don't mention it because he just whitters on about his travels and no one's interested.
I love travelling.
I know you love travelling, but no one wants to. You're the modern day equivalent of fucking.
Shut up, miserable sod.
I am a miserable sod when it comes to people whittering on about their
When
travels.
you come to jealousy, because I know you want to go to all of New Zealand as well. That's what it is.
I would quite like
Bitter.
that. I don't like travel.
Bitter.
I don't like travelling as a general rule, but New Zealand I would like to go to.
I would. So really, I would actually say that's not a true fact. Are you
What?
saying you don't like long haul flights? Is that really what you're saying? Or
No, I don't.
Or actually, also going around New Zealand, you would find.
No, I would like to go to New Zealand.
Yeah.
But I don't like leaving my house
Okay, fair enough.
generally. My perfect holiday is generally me being at home. I'm a homebody.
Well, see, I would say I love travelling, but I would also agree with that. That sometimes I just want to be at home.
Yeah,
with
I
you.
find it a little bit anxiety provoking, to be honest. It sounds very small minded and potentially racist, but I just
Why does it
I
sound
just don't like
racist?
I just don't like Peruvians. No,
They are weird.
Hamilton. No, I don't like. I get very uncomfortable in countries where I can't understand the language. If that makes any sense.
Okay, fair enough.
And I'm not very good at languages at all, so I don't pick them up. So when I don't feel able to control my situation and my environment, which is probably the reason I don't drink as well, I don't like being out of control.
Oh, I was gonna say you mean drink to like excess.
Yeah. I drink mildly, but I haven't been drunk since I was like 25. I'm painting some steps. foot on rock, as Warren would say. I've been watching some more Beast of War recently.
Yeah. What, like, did you watch any of their, like,
No, I'm not really
the
interested.
Warhammer 40k thing?
Yeah, I watched the terrain stuff. This
Yeah.
is Beast of War, who are Luke and I, well, we like them,
Yeah.
don't we? I'd
Now
say
they
they're back.
now, I think, like to be known as on tabletop.
Yeah, I saw something about why they changed the name, and it was interesting.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just to um be more about board games
No,
and
no,
things
it's
because they
because of
have
war. War in the name. Yeah.
war in the name, and they felt that YouTube was shafting them.
Yeah. And from, I think, well, I gather that has started to be the case.
Right.
They were correct.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because I just assumed it was because they wanted to move into board gaming, but I don't.
No.
But it wasn't. Was it?
From what they said, I think this weekend. I think I actually got the impression from.
They're not interested in board gaming.
Completely. Yeah, that was basically what Warren said, wasn't it? That it was like we're about doing the miniatures, and and a real step back from the whole board game thing, which I was a bit like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You have to.
He didn't seem very happy this weekend.
No,
though.
he didn't, did he? He seemed a little bit antsy.
Yeah, and he also seemed like he was pissed off with the audience for good reason. For whinging, basically.
Oh, well, that bit about like, oh god, bloody 40k. It's like, oh, that just sounded like such a classic YouTube dickhead comment, you know.
Yeah, but no,
there seemed to be something riling him. Yes.
Yeah. Wasn't his usual jovial self. So Beast of War, if no one's ever watched it, is well worth watching, just for the
Weekender and
entertainment
stuff.
value.
Yeah,
I would say.
They're a great bunch of guys, very funny.
They're a fantastic bunch of guys.
Dash to the toilet now. Back in the bed.
Yeah, so a fantastic bunch of guys, and we should do something. We should do something while he's away. I'm painting. I don't know. I'm painting away from the screen, so I apologise. I'll just move back now. Yeah, so they mainly focus on war games. They do a lot of hobby stuff. Well, it's where we stole the idea from Hobby Hangout, to be honest. Although I've not actually watched one of their hobby hangouts. I think they tend to go through like they've got quite an active group on their website with forums and stuff, and it's actually one of these places which has forums on their own website, which actually has active forums. Most places really struggle when they try and get their own forums, so you're usually best off sticking to Board Game Geek or Reddit or something like that. So they, as far as I'm aware, on the Hobby Hangout, they go through their forums and look at things that their audience has posted. But I never really watch one. But yeah, they're very good. They're very good. But you want to try and some of them are better than others. So your ideal one is there's a show they do called The Weekender, which kind of reminds me of Saturday morning TV. Certainly what I use for my Saturday morning TV. And they just sit around chatting about stuff and doing news from kind of a wargaming miniature type standpoint. And then they usually have someone in plugging their products, and I usually skip through all that bit. And if it's not Warren and there's one called Jerry or Lloyd. If it's not Warren or Lloyd, they're two brothers who kind of own the company, really. Doing the weekend, I usually don't bother with it because they're definitely the most charismatic. But there's also a guy called Jerry who I very much enjoy as well. But he's usually good at making kind of sarcastic comments from the sideline, to be honest, rather than carrying the show himself. But he's definitely an enjoyable character. So there you go. Must check them out. Occasionally watch Striking Scorpion. Yeah, Mini War. I'm not saying Striking Scorpion. Mini War Gaming. They're very kind of. I don't mind them, but they do mostly battle reports, don't they? They've recently moved into this big house, which is very impressive. But no, Beast of War. They've been going a long time. They were even on Geek and Sundry for a while, doing all the minis news. That's where I first came across them. But I really enjoy them. Right, I'm going to paint the base of this other chap as well while that's drying. I'm very near. Look, I've only got 2 models left. After I've finished this Green Arrow, I've only got Stupid Bat Cow and Stupid Duke left. And here he is. Shh. Everyone be quiet. He's still muted.
What were you saying?
So tired of Joan of Arc after allowing we're playing into a scenario. Oh, tired, not tired. And there were plenty of stopping and starting. Rules checking. We pulled it all out and tried to figure it out. Need to check more Beasts of War. Stop when it's stop tables. Yeah. I think, as I say, I think their audience kind of dropped off, didn't it? It certainly feels like their audience has dropped off. But I'm still watching. They employ a lot of people. They employ more than the Dice Tower does, I think.
Gotcha. Loads more.
So
talking,
there must
about
be
on tabletop. Yeah, still.
Yeah. So Dean's tried Joan of Arc.
Yes, I was just saying that. So lots of faffing about
Like
checking the
stopping
rules.
and starting with rules.
Well, I'm not overly surprised at that sort of game. You know.
Yeah, but I just noticed from my Patreon update that Universal Head has just uploaded.
Oh, he mentioned
a load of.
He mentioned Joan of Arc, didn't he? Oh, that he hadn't got he hadn't done an insert for it. That was it.
He hadn't done an insert. But he may not have done the insert. I don't know if he's done one or not. But he's now uploaded a rules summary for it. So that's there. Should you want it? Which might help. So was it any good, Dean?
Yeah. What did you think of it in general? Yeah, it has a Memoir 44 feel to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound. That sounds good. In that, I'm glad I didn't get it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah. Do you like Memoir 44 then?
I don't mind it. I prefer Battle Law.
Yeah, I'm actually with you there a little bit. Yeah.
I would play Battle Law a lot more if I've only half painted one army. So what I really need to do is get my ass in gear and paint the rest of it.
I thought that was just so you could sell it.
Well, that's why I haven't sold it.
Exactly.
But to be honest, Evan really likes it. So that's another game I can see us playing a bit. So I'm probably going to keep it because and you can't get it anymore.
No, I sold it because.
Did you?
I just had the base set and I thought, I really wish I'd got the expansions because I would have liked more army stuff and so I was just like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna get rid of it.
I've got the expansions.
Yeah,
and I've only got 2 armies. I haven't got
right, okay, yeah. I would have liked the other armies and stuff. Army? Was there only one undead?
There's only one army. There's three factions.
Yeah.
There's the humans. There's the undead, and then there's the demons. And I have the undead. You have to buy in 2 separate expansions, whereas you got half of all the humans and half of all the demons in the base box. So I bought I bought all the human expansions and all the base box expansions.
Yeah, so I wished I'd done that.
I want to try more of a battle instead of the scenarios where we pick out armies to a certain point total. Yeah. Here's Ty. Ty was playing with us.
Hello, Ty.
Ty was in my Battle Law campaign that we had and played like 1 game of and then never played again. You sold them, didn't you, Ty? You sold all yours. Yeah. Managed to collect all the Battle Law stuff. Pity got dropped. It is a pity, although I'm tempted to see if I can pick up the rest of it now, see if it's cheap. And then have it all. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? To have a complete... Because there's quite a lot there if you got all of it. I can't afford to at the moment. Can't afford anything.
No,
there's all sorts...
Me too.
There's all sorts of stuff I've got lined up that I want to buy that I can't afford. Do I move on? Hell no, you had 2 sets. Oh, so you haven't sold Battle Law.
still got one set of it. Is that right? Dean misses that from the old Warhammer Fantasy days. Yeah, I know. Mass Battle. Although I thought I wanted to play Mass Battle games, and then I played Age of Sigmar, and I thought, no, I don't like moving all these guys. I want to move just one guy at a time. So I don't think I have that issue. Dean. Oh, you still got a set. Oh, play then, Ty. Let's play, because I'll get mine painted up, so in about 3 or 4 years, we'll play. It's not going to be 3 or 4 years.
I was going to say, yeah, that was optimistic still.
That is very optimistic. Now, do I paint stupid Bat Cow or stupid Power Ranger?
Just getting it done wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, would it?
What? The cow?
Get it done.
Let's play. Let's do Bat Cow. Here we are. There's the. I had to order some states, mostly still available. Couldn't get any extra set of dice. Bloody Fantasy Flight and their extra set of dice, the bastards. There we go. I'm doing the cow, ladies and germs. Doing the cow. Oh yeah. Right. I was going to say I'm going to start off by painting it all white, but it is white. But I'm still going to paint it all white, I think, because it's got bits of blue all over it. Where, yeah. I heard someone else say the advantage of being in New Zealand and Australia, I suppose, to a slightly lesser extent, is that you don't get all caught up in the hotness because you can't bloody get it anyway.
Have you ever seen the price of Games Workshop stuff in Australia and New Zealand? Shocking.
And even the price of Games Workshop stuff in America, it's the only situation where we've got a better deal than. Yeah.
But I mean, Australia is. It beggars belief to me that anybody plays Games Workshop stuff in Australia.
Yeah. Although Australia is, the cost of living in Australia is also higher. Just generally, Luke.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And their wages are higher as well.
Right.
So I think some of it might be faintly offset.
They don't the way the Australians talk about it, they don't make it sound like it's like, well, yeah, but we're getting a better deal here and there.
Well, you wouldn't, would you? You wouldn't. But we keep, because of my Australian citizenship, we occasionally talk about moving to Australia, and our big issue is making enough from the sale of our house to buy a house in Australia.
Well, and also because obviously your house is in the north. So
yeah, I suppose to be honest, it could be roughly equivalent to making enough from the sale of our house to move to London. I suppose would be the similar type of equivalency,
which you couldn't do.
Which we couldn't do. No.
Yeah.
I don't think you could even buy a house for the price of my house in London.
No, probably not.
But I suppose the reason that's the equivalent.
Not anywhere that would be considered properly in London.
No, the majority of Australians live in big urban centres, don't they? Because that's
all they have. Yeah.
That's all they have.
13 million people in about 6 or 7 decent sized cities.
It's mental. Yeah. Hello from Wales. Hello, Lynn. Which part of Wales?
Are you valleys or are you up in the north?
Are you burning down the houses of English people, or
are you quite pleasant? Yeah. She's gonna say she's up north.
Yeah. I like North Wales.
She's just gonna hang up and just go. Screw these tickets.
I do like Wales, although I could never live there. I've because I don't think I could handle. And again, this sounds racist.
You're about to say the Welsh.
No, I was about to say the language. because when I go to Wales, I really struggle with the dual signs.
Really?
Well, no, I don't struggle. That's a lie because you just read the English bit, don't you? But if I lived in Wales, I would have to work. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And generally, my work involves me driving around and being told where to go and having to go to various places and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not convinced I could remember the names of these places because It's how difficult it is to say. But I love. Oh, she's gone. She's absolutely disgusted with you and your racism against the Welsh. I do like Wales though.
I love Wales and their love of consonants.
My wife, her favourite place to go, if we're going on a holiday or anything like that, she'll want to go to Scotland, the Highlands of Scotland. That's her place. But mine's Wales. I love it. Love it. I mean, I generally go to the stereotypically place where every English person goes in Wales, which is Anglesey. But it's one of my favourite places to be is Anglesey.
Pontypridd, South Wales, aye.
Well,
Lovely.
very good. They've got some good board game shops in Wales, Cardiff as well, haven't they? And they're really impressive shop in Cardiff, I hear.
I used to stay in Cardiff a lot. A friend of mine's grandparents lived there, and we used to often go down and stay with them for a weekend or something.
Yeah, I went to Cardiff. It was a while ago now. It's been 12 years ago, but we went out for dinner near where the Welsh Assembly is and stuff. It was very posh, very poosh, very swanky. A bit like Liverpool. Liverpool's posh these days.
Well, it was the culture capital for a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, but yeah,
I think
yeah,
it got a lot of doing up when that happened.
It did get a lot of doing up. It probably needed it as well. But oh, sorry, I'm painting over there.
Oh, I did that earlier. Yeah, I suddenly realised I had it tucked up in front of me.
Yeah. I'm just splatting white paint on at the moment. Stupid cows. How am I going to shade? How am I going to ink this thing? Very light. No, I think of sepia actually. How would you ink a white cow?
Black, probably, but then highlight back over the white.
Yeah, it takes too long.
Well, it's what
I'm
you're
going to
probably
really
going to have to do.
No, I'm going to do a watered down sepia.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Because it's a kind of fawny, muddy coloured brown anyway. You're English, you get used to language. Yeah, what? Lake District is beautiful.
To be fair, we can keep naming beautiful areas of England.
I'd prefer to be where I am, to be honest, because it's not quite as touristy. There's not as many lakes, but
So you're just in the district.
What?
So you're just in the district rather than the
I am, yeah,
Lake
actually.
District.
Yeah, I thought you were being sarcastic.
No.
I thought you were being actually honest there, but no, I am. I'm in the Peak District.
Oh, of course, yes, you are. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right on the edge of the Peak District. So within.
Would you say it's not as touristy there?
Yeah. In the lakes.
I just would have thought that. Yeah, I mean the Peak District. I in my southerner kind of sense, I would have considered it to be quite touristy.
No, not at all, really. The Yorkshire Dales are touristy,
Right. Okay.
but the Peak District is a bit too bleak to be touristy, to be honest. There's lots of. I mean, there's tourists around.
Yeah.
It's like the Pennine Way goes slap bang through the middle of it and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd say the Peak District is a bleak and lonely place, but beautiful nonetheless.
Just give everybody a little look at my squirrel as he's.
No one's interested in you, squirrel. But
Well, what the hell else are they here for if they're not interested in either my squirrel or your stupid fecking cow?
I better not have to do about 7 coats of white on this stupid cow. Rules of play, cat. Rules of play. That's what it is. Firestorm Games. Do they have no Firestorm? That was a long time ago because there used to be a mail order company called Firestorm, didn't there? I don't know if it still exists.
Yeah, Firestorm cards. No, are they Firestorm cards?
Oh yeah.
Massive.
Sorry, I was talking about. I was talking about more. I was talking about they did like novelties and stuff like that. Firestorm.
Oh yes, no. Was it Firestorm or Firestone?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was Firestone. Yeah, they might still be about. I'm not sure.
Don't know. The I told you my story about my Annoyatron.
Your what?
There used to be a website, Geek Chic. It's closed down recently, but you'll probably heard of it.
Not the tables, Geek Chic.
No, maybe it wasn't Geek Chic then. It was Geek something website anyway, and it was the ones that did the practical, did April Fool's joke of the is it the Bantha from Return of the Jedi, the
big
Tauntaun.
The Tauntaun from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Bye bye, Super McDad. Listen,
mate.
You're not going to get me. You're not going to shame me because I don't know the Tauntaun from. Yeah, that one.
Don't worry.
The sleeping bag. Have you seen the sleeping bag they made out of that?
No. They did they?
Yeah, they did an April Fool's joke of that, and then people said so much they wanted it
that they ended
up making it. Yeah. So you split the stomach open and get in to sleep, which is a very clever theory. Yeah. So one of the things they used to sell was this thing called an Annoyatron, and what it was a very small device about the size. It's about a centimetre across, maybe 1.5 centimetres long, centimetre across, and this Annoyatron, it only had one purpose. It had a little watch battery in it. And all it was is every between 30 and 45 seconds, so it's completely random when it did it. Right. It used to go beep.
God, that is horrific.
And it had a little magnet on it. And what I did is I bought one and I hid it.
Oh, horrible.
I think I put it under someone's desk, right at the back of someone's desk, so kind of magnet clicked it to the chair of their back leg of their desk or something. At work, it was a secretary, and it drove her absolutely insane. Absolutely, she was tearing the because it was so irregular, because it was only 30 to 40, so you couldn't time it. So just every now and again, for a while, a day or two, it's just going beep every now and again, and she's checking the batteries on everything, getting the fire alarm down to check if it's that beeping, because it's such a nondescript noise. She just couldn't pinpoint where it was coming from. It was amazing. It's a shame they shut down, because that was a fantastic the Annoyatron. I think that's probably their best seller, to be fair, but it really worked.
It's genius. Evil genius, but it's genius.
Yeah. Oh, look at this Green Arrow. He's looking amazing.
Because your wash saved him.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I think, as I say, oh shit. I've just washed green on his flesh by mistake. That's the problem with your different coloured washes. You end up having to be as careful painting as you. Crisps.
You what?
Crisps.
No, I'm not eating crisps. It's
What are you doing?
I'm just shuffling through static grass and flock bags.
You're at that stage, are you?
Yours.
I'll have to stop soon, because I need to go to bed. I'm working tomorrow.
It's only 11. It's not too bad, but yeah.
Soon. We've been at it for 2 hours. We've had a steady 30 people watching, which makes me think that is updating for me.
You what, sorry?
Well, every time I look at how many people are watching, it's 13. Yet people have come and gone, so I don't know how that's.
It was 11 on mine. Every time I was looking, it's 11 or 12.
Right, so I think mine's static. Not that we care. Not that we don't care. Not that we don't want people to be here, because we're enjoying to watch people, but it's just a bit of fun. I need to find a better way of doing this. I'm gonna have to do
Doing what?
setup like yours.
Oh, yeah.
Do camera. I keep
Smacking
moving the. Yeah, well, yeah, smacking my head on it, and it's not square on and all that kind of stuff. I think it would be better if I sorted it out better. So, this week, I have been going to buy, at various points,
Warcry again, but I'm really determined not to buy it.
Yeah.
An airbrush.
Oh yeah. It's
It's the cleaning it. That's what keeps putting me off. I keep watching videos about airbrushes, and then make sure you clean it with these 7 different cleaning products. And I'm thinking, I can't be asked for that. I don't even wash my own face. An airbrush, and I've been watching a lot of sculpting videos of not miniatures, but kind of models and stuff. I've been quite tempted to buy some. You call it Sculpey.
Yep. I have some.
Yeah. Do you do any sculpting?
Yeah. When I was younger, that was the sort of art I used to like to do.
Yeah, I think get into that.
And I would like to. I've had a go at trying to sculpt my own miniatures and kind of done okay. Okay is probably stretching it a bit. But yeah, I'd like to do that.
I don't think I want to sculpt miniatures. My idea was sculpting things that are like 12 inches high, like models.
Yeah.
I suppose figurines. Because I've been watching this guy called Ace of Clay do it.
I think I've watched something of his before. That name rings a bell at least. You and me seem to cross paths on YouTube quite a lot.
Yeah, he just kind of. I'd probably describe them as I don't know animation style models.
Right.
They're not animation models because they don't move, but they're very much hard money. Not the same faces, but you could see it in an animated. Oh, Ambi, you've got some polymer clay. Yeah, I really fancy it, and it's quite cheap, really. I've got most of the sculpting tools already, so I probably will get some next week.
So what does he want to make?
I don't know. I'm thinking a set of dwarves, a set of kind of Tolkien-esque cartoon dwarves.
Okay,
If the dwarves from The Hobbit had been made by Aardman,
right?
That's what I'm thinking. Not with the mouths though. I don't like the mouths, but you know what I mean. That kind of thing. But I don't know if I could do it. But then again, what that doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
It's the process. So yeah. What do you make, Ambi, with your polymer clay? And I've played Gaslands, Lynn. That's the other thing that I am very
we were discussing
close.
this again the other day.
Yeah, very close to starting up again. Is Gaslands. In fact, Luke got all his cars out last time. Me and Luke did one of these the other day. We're not talking to everybody, so we could basically bitch about Mike Delisio.
Who?
Mike Delisio.
Who's he?
This isn't nobody.
I've seen his name scrubbed out on a wall somewhere.
He was on the Dice. He was on the Dice Tower live stream yesterday. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, with Roy. Or what it was.
Roy, yeah. You did very well. I didn't mention my name enough there. Sorry, Abby reply. She hadn't made anything resources for dungeon pets. Yeah, I've seen people make those. Is that like Fimo you use?
Yeah, Fimo is polymer clay, basically, same stuff.
Yeah. That's the one that's kind of more known in this country.
Yeah, that's the brand, isn't it? But
yeah.
To be fair, pleasingly, because I was looking at Fimo the other day for something I wanted to do, and I was actually quite surprised how cheap Fimo is for being the brand.
Yeah,
it's not expensive, even if you go with Fimo Professional, whatever the hell that is.
Well, I've been learning all about these things, and the thing I'll probably get is Super Sculpey,
right?
Because
that's one I think I have some of.
Yeah, I think it's what they use for bigger models, because that's what I'll be looking at doing, and it's less. If you stick a hole in it, it doesn't slowly
close back round the hole. If that makes any sense, it's firmer. You can get firmer stuff even firmer stuff as well, but that can be quite. And then I've been thinking about getting a lasagna, a pasta maker to roll the thing out evenly.
Using a pasta maker for it. I thought you meant to make pasta.
No, you get a pasta maker to basically instead of a rolling pin. As with all these things, Luke, I go in hard and buy everything.
Yeah, see, I do the exact opposite. I go in half-assed.
Well, yeah.
I think your way is actually better.
Well, but my way is usually temporary, and I spend a lot more money doing it.
Half-assed can be pretty temporary too.
Yeah, Famo and Sculpey are different brands of the clay. I don't think we really get Sculpey over here. It's not something I've really seen.
No, I don't think it is as easy to get. We can get it,
no,
but I think you probably...
It's definitely on Amazon. It's 13 quid for a pound of it.
A pound of it?
And
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot.
And a pound would be what I would use for a model, according to what I've seen.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, a bigger model. Well, you think that's too much or too little?
No, I just a pound just seemed like quite a lot of it to me, but obviously I'm not thinking in the bigger things that you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm not talking about little models. I'm talking about
decent size.
I hesitate to even use the word Funko Pops, but
yes,
that kind of size.
I was only just thinking of the irony of that.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah. So I'm really tempted.
Oh yeah, I found those acrylic bases. I spent God knows how long looking for them.
All right, okay.
With all the rest of my Star Wars Legion stuff, not in the little box that I thought they were.
That would have been the sensible place to put them. So I'm painting this cow's cape. God's sake, can't believe I'm saying these words.
Horrible sentence to say.
Yeah, very dark. Well, dark I've got because I no longer paint black. I paint it grey, and then I really want some contrast paint. I mean, that would be perfect. Maybe it's not good for capes, is it? Contrast paint. It looks all black.
No, it doesn't come out quite right. No. It's not bad on like smaller capes, but a big cape like that, no, it wouldn't work. I don't think anyway.
What colour is this cow's? What colour is this cow's? Let's have a look.
Can you just wet that?
Wet what?
Cape? Oh, as you've just painted it grey.
Hey.
Sorry, right. I thought it was grey plastic painted with wet water on it. Sorry.
I recommend getting a pasta maker. It makes a lot of life easier. It looks use a sugar, but okay. Yeah, I just don't want to spend too much money on it, Ty. I think I might have to sell a game or two and then buy all this stuff because I feel a bit guilty for spending lots of money on whimsical stuff like that. It's coming out of the family budgets. Now, Lynn, you probably heard me say this. Lynn's got a 3D printer. That's exactly correct. Ty, you're too generous. God's sake. Anyway, Lynn's saying it's changed. The 3D printer changed life. It's amazing how much time you waste watching it go back and forth. That is entirely correct. In fact, Cora used to come upstairs and say, "You still watching it?" I'm just sat there watching it go. It's all good while it's working, but it's hell when it goes wrong. Yes. You need to be somebody who can put up with the frustration of it going wrong because it used to drive me absolutely bananas.
You didn't keep it long, did you, in the end?
I couldn't. Do you know what? Many times I regret selling it because there's loads of, especially terrain and stuff, that I'd love to do. But the amount of grief it gave me when it just wouldn't work. And I think one of the main issues is it worked so well for me for a while, and then stopped. And I think the reason it stopped was because I couldn't stop pissing around with it. Yeah. So it stopped working, and then I got really frustrated with it. And basically, Kerry told me,
I should sell it. And she's a very good judge of when things are not good for me. So I did. I occasionally regret it because if I just left it there in a corner, boxed up, and then got it back out when I felt a bit more calm about it, I think I probably would be still printing things to this day. But I think it probably needs to be more plug and play for me because the amount of frustration. And again, I spent a fortune on it trying to tinker with it, and just everything I added to it made it worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got a Raspberry Pi for it.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
You didn't fuck about, did you?
I never do, Luke. I never do.
What on earth did you get a Raspberry Pi for it?
Because you use the Raspberry Pi as so you can wirelessly tell it what to print, so you don't have to swap the cards around and stuff. And also, it had it's to play with, but also I had ideas of doing. This was back when I was still making videos and stuff. I had ideas of doing it for either the Dice Tower or myself or whatever. Because at the time, no one was doing 3D printing for
printed pieces bit.
Yeah, Roy's doing it now, and also the Murphs are doing it now. I still think there's room for someone else to do it. Possibly not on the Dice Tower, but there's a lot of people doing it for minis and role playing, and I think there's still a gap of people doing it for, especially if they had some kind of skills at actually making the raw files.
3D sculpting, yeah.
Yeah, which I did try and do a bit of, but it's very difficult. This stupid cow. Look at it. Look at its stupid face. Right. So I can't remember what I was saying now. Was it interesting?
The room for people to do 3D printing online.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, yeah. So I got the Raspberry Pi because what you could do with the Raspberry Pi is do very elaborate, not stop motion. What is it called? Time lapse.
Oh, I see. Yes, because you can make it. You can make it take a picture with the arms in the same place all the time, can't you? So it just looks like it rises out of the ground.
Like it's rising out of the ground.
It is great when you see people do that. It does show off a 3D print brilliantly.
Yeah. Whereas when you do one where you're just doing it and the thing's moving all over the place, it's just not as.
It's fine, but it's cool. It's not. It's not as cool.
No. So that was my idea. That's why I got the Raspberry Pi, so I could do that. But that just drove me mad. I ended up buying so much parts from China. I was just got a bit silly. But you should get one, Ambi.
I'd love one.
Because you're a lot more patient, and she's very technical, isn't she? Whereas I'm not particularly technically adept person. Look at this stupid damn cow. I'm so cross this even exists.
It is ridiculous.
Cows aren't symmetrical, are they? They've just got blobs.
A symmetrical cow would look very weird.
Okay. Oh, it's nice. Botox.
I'd imagine the kind of fingerprinty, cow's pattern sense.
Yeah.
Unique
Hoof
to
print.
it.
I was watching a video of someone shoeing a horse the other day.
A friend of mine's a farrier.
Is he?
Yeah.
My dad used to be a blacksmith, but he never shod any horses. I was going to say, is there much call for farriers, but they must. Yeah, of course there is.
Where I live, or near where I live. Yes, the home of horse racing.
Bloody hate horses, you know.
In what sense?
Well, I don't hate horses. I hate horse riders. I don't hate horse riders. Yes, I do. I do hate them. Someone's now going to say in the comments that they're a horse rider, and I apologise. I don't hate you in particular, but I hate everything you stand for.
I'm kind of with you.
They're just on the roads all the time. There was a bloody horse going down the
towpath when I was walking the dog the other day, and I had to, because you don't know what the bloody horse. Problem is, they're massive, lethal animals. You don't know what they're going to do. The horse rider is going to blame you for whatever it does. That's certainly what happened. I've told this story before, but when I was about 8, there was someone riding a horse past school at school, the school run time basically, and I was walking home from school, and I patted the horse on its bum, and it reared up and tried to kick me in the head, and it narrowly missed me. It would have killed me,
Yeah.
Luke. It would have killed me. And the woman on the back said, "You stupid boy! Don't you know how to be round horses?" I went,
No,
"No,
why would you?
I,
Yeah.
I didn't." But if I could have a time machine, that is the one place I would go back to that time. I'd as an adult, I'd give her a bloody piece of my mind. No, I don't know how to. He's a I'm an 8-year-old boy who's never been around a horse. If your horse is going to rear up and try and kill somebody, literally try and kill me, walking past the school, then you should be riding it in a goddamn field.
The guy I know who's, when he was before he was a farrier, he was a stud hand. This is the same guy I used to go to Wales with actually.
Sexy stud.
Sexy stud hand. He lived on various studs whenever he worked, and so every now and then go crash over and whatever, drink too much. And I remember there was this one stud that he lived on, and it had this big beautiful creature that it was, but it was a miserable, angry horse. And then this guy came. I forget what he was there for. He was like a vet or farrier or something like that. Came to look at this horse, and it kicked him out of the stable, and he must have flown in the air, almost completely perpendicular with the floor, at least 7 or 8 feet, at least 4 or 5 feet off the ground. Yeah, absolutely. I was stood outside the stable. I think I was just patting one of the horse in the next stable or whatever, and yeah, my mate was on the other side of this stable door from me, and this guy just suddenly, we were talking to each other across it, he just suddenly came flying out, like it was like out of a comic or a cartoon, kind of thing, just flying backwards out of this thing. Yeah.
They really are dangerous animals. And you drive past one, and you have to drive at like 1 mile an hour, and then you drive past, and the person's giving you evils for passing. It's like, this is a goddamn road.
No matter how slow you go.
Yeah. We're not, as much as you want it, we are no longer, in 1850, where horses ruled the roads. Put it in a goddamn. Anyway, sorry, I get very cross about horses. My dad used to as well. It's one thing I've inherited from my dad.
I do love them. I think they're beautiful, amazing creatures.
I've got no objection to anyone keeping them. Even I just don't think they should be on public roads or on public footpaths. And I appreciate when people say, "Well, there's nowhere to ride them," and I go,
Probably shouldn't have it then.
Yeah, well, you're right. If there's nowhere to ride them, then don't own one. Right, let's see how many people are swearing at me.
With my
Uncle was a trotting driver and lost an eye to a horse kick. It's amazing how dangerous they are. I don't know what trotting.
Yeah, I don't know what a trotting driver is either. I was going to ask.
My next door neighbour broke his back falling off a horse. I've got a friend whose brother died falling off a horse.
Can you imagine, like, if when it bucks and hits you that way, if that, literally hit you in the face, that'd be like so much force behind that point of impact. They are massive, muscular creatures,
A bit like me.
Sorry, what did I say?
No, yeah, exactly. I do feel very strongly about horses, and I know people love them, and I appreciate
the pounds per square inch from a horse kick at the right point of the kick, as it were, must be quite astronomical. I would have thought.
Yeah. Anyway, stupid horses. I'm gonna paint this, and then I'm gonna go to bed.
I've finished.
That's right. You finished, haven't you?
I'm really, really, really quite pleased to.
Let's have a look. I haven't seen it yet. Put it under your thing, and I'll wait till it comes up on there.
Oh, it's taking a while.
It'll get there.
Oh, he's nice. Oh, yours do really good bases as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Need to play the game.
Really should, really. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased with it.
Yeah, I played it once. As I say, I'm not sure when I'll next play it because my interests have moved on. Probably when I next play it when I get round to painting the second warband. Everyone's always talking about wanting to play it, so you never know. The amount of time I spent on that bloody.
I've enjoyed. I almost don't care if I like the game. I've enjoyed painting these miniatures so much that I will happily buy more just to paint them because I'm just enjoying painting them.
That's good.
Yeah, and that's been a long time, I would say, since that. And you know what? I actually thought for a long time. I thought actually the game part of the hobby, I could take it or leave it. Which I know seems a bit odd.
When was that?
Probably like the last sort of, I would say, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. You know,
right. Okay.
But
you still feel that way?
It depends on the game. There's a lot more decent. That's when there weren't so many good skirmish level games.
Yeah.
I was so frustrated with these mass battle games that were just crap loads of stuff that all looked the same for the most part. You know. That took an hour and a half to set up, and you could be, you know, you could have a bunch of bad dice rolls in the first turn that just meant you were going to spend the next 2 hours figuring out how badly you were going to lose, and
and the whole
and it's just frustrating, you know.
No, I agree because the thing that really frustrates me about Age of Sigmar, and that's it's one of the better ones is Age of Sigmar as well, is that whole. Your entire army goes, and their entire army goes, and then so they go first. Their entire army goes, and wiped out half of your entire army.
You go, I go. I will absolutely, unequivocally not play anymore. With very very few minor caveats, but yeah.
Well, you go, I go. Is that's alternate turns though? But I know what you mean. You mean that whole army goes, other army.
Yeah.
Super McDad. You need to get back to painting. My eyes aren't as good as they were when I painted Epic 40 scale.
This is the only type of mass scale I will play. I really, really, really am finding small scale more and more appealing. 10 mil, 15 mil I like already, but I'm really finding the idea of like 6 to 10 mil appealing.
Well, what I was going to say about his eyes is.
He wants one of your things.
He wants one of my things. I'll show you in a minute. I'm just finishing this bell, then I'll switch the camera over, then we'll say goodbye. But Tabletop Minions, if you've never watched any of their videos, you really should, because he's Ace, is Uncle Atom. Yeah, he's awesome. He's such a cool guy. He's the kind of guy you think,
a very genuine, nice guy.
I could never be as cool as that man.
No.
That's what I always think. There's no human way I could ever be cool like Uncle Atom is. And he's done a video recently on painting as you get older and various tips. But I've not actually watched it, but as I understand it, he recommends...
Yes, I was telling you about it. Yeah, he discusses...
He discusses fake eyesight. Hang on a second. I'll move back to Skype. Oh, here we go. I'm going to switch over, Luke. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Okay, if I can work out how to do it.
I need a
laugh. Look!
There it comes.
One of these!
There he is.
There I am. Use one of these. It's like a magnifying
Tesco
thing.
Value Welder.
Tesco Value Welder. It was only like £5, and my painting improved massively after getting this.
When you bring it down and you can see your eyes like that. Do you remember the bit in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids when he's talking in front of the magnifying glass?
Yeah.
That's what you remind me of.
It's cool. It's amazing. This is my... Look at this. I mean, look what I have to put up with. Painting like this. This is my bloody face. It's a nightmare. Move it now. I'm not going to paint anymore. Oh.
How have you got it attached to that?
Can you see? Look at that gaffer tape.
Oh,
there.
it's just gaffer tape, is it? Whatever works.
Gaffer tape on.
Whatever
Yeah,
works.
there you go.
Colourful.
Hmm?
Colourful gaffer tape too.
Yeah, I deliberately bought colourful ones because I thought, why not treat myself? Some colourful gaffer tape. Well, ladies and germs, as it stands, I've got various bits and bobs to finish off on Green Arrow and the 3 Batmen, but I've nearly finished this bloody cow pretty quick painting. Look at that cow. And then I've only got this Power Ranger dude left. I've done the entire of the Heroes of Batman. I've got a lot of villains to do, but not all of them. I did the top layer of the villains. Yeah, you do need it, Super McDad, because it's good. It's good. Right, I'm just looking at the video again now, and you can see the bags under my eyes. I've got to go to work tomorrow. Got to get up early to iron all my clothes tomorrow as well.
I'm really, really, really pleased with the squirrel, and I'm glad because he was my favourite of the models I have.
Yeah,
Very pleased.
that's good. You need to get you should do a little diorama to keep them in.
Ooh, that's a nice idea. Ooh, I like that idea a lot. Yes.
You know, one of those ones
Like
you
the
just
old
drop-
armies on display thing that you do in Games Workshop.
Yeah,
and stuff.
just even if it's just like
Just
a little
around
bit
a
of
tree
field, but
or a little bit of a tree
Yeah.
stump, and that's a really nice idea. Yeah, I will do that.
yeah, because you haven't got many left to go now, have you? How many have you got left to go?
The ones I have that aren't from like Mice or Mystics and stuff, I only have 5 left to go.
Yeah, I won't bother with my mystic stuff.
No, I don't think I will. No, I kind of got that. There's a couple I've got that I might vaguely use, but
I know it sounds pathetic, but they'll be different weights.
that's true. Well, yeah, but then these 2 buggers are resin, aren't they? Which is annoying. And I put them on wooden bases. I should have weighted their bases.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't notice that when I was playing it. To be fair, but they're still a little bit heavy because they're bigger.
They're
models,
really
aren't
not. I mean, they're really light. Really, really light. They weigh.
Yeah, they're good though. No, you did a cracking job with that. We'll have to have a game of it one day, like we're going to play every single bloody game under the sun.
This shrew weighs more than him. Yeah, he does. Definitely does.
Well, you're more than welcome, Lynn, to come on next week. As I say, we've never had any pretense that there's any entertainment value to this at all. Myself and Luke just want to catch up and do a bit of painting, really. So it's not. We're not trying to be the next. I don't know what you would call it. I don't know. There's no one who does this. There's no one who does this popular, is it? It's just a bit of fun.
I would have asked some people if they want to join us, because we often have somebody who comes on and has a chat with us as well. But that went very, very wrong last time. So
It did go very long.
I decided I got it right to this point. So I thought, well, we'll keep it as is for today. I won't bother pushing my luck too much.
Yeah.
But I really want to have John on when he's painting at some point, because he's a really, really talented guy. And I'd like to talk painting more with him, or painting and miniature gaming in general.
Weird shit, isn't he?
Yeah, he was when he came briefly that one time. Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
No, he's fine. This Green Arrow. Can you see him?
Oh, he looks good. Yeah, you definitely did. There's something about obviously the light that I was getting from that, because he doesn't look nearly as.
No, he's definitely emerald turquoise. Yeah.
No, that does look good. Yeah. He doesn't look Green Goblin anymore either. No, he looks really good actually. I really like it. It's a nice model.
Yeah,
it's a nice model. Nice pose.
It's all very tabletop quality, but I'm not making any excuses for that.
Well,
That's absolutely fine.
Really, I wouldn't say my Boroughs and Badgers are really. They're maybe a smidge above tabletop, but not a lot,
What are you going to paint, Ambi?
Oh yeah, what are you going to paint? Yeah.
Ambi's good at painting. You do painting for the Dice Tower as well, don't you, Ambi? Occasionally. Oh, I've got a scratch. She might have gone over. Oh,
Post.
right.
Yeah, she might have gone.
Painting.
Oh no,
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings in the middle.
Ah,
Put
Lord of the Rings.
Put some of your stuff up on the sporadically board Facebook page, Anne, because I'd really like to see it.
That's the Descent one, isn't it? Or the Matches of Madness
Matches of
one.
Madness, yeah.
I refuse.
But I'm super amateur. Well, no, we're pretty amateur as well.
Exactly.
Perfection.
in the army.
Absolutely, you're completely right. Best thing I ever did was realise that I didn't need to take it as far as I was trying to take it, you know.
And the other thing that oh God.
What?
Sorry, someone's just asking me to play a party game. The other thing that's at a party, no less. The other thing that's the enemy of painting is digital photography, and zoom lenses or macro lenses.
Yeah, the closer you get, you realise that
the closer you get, the worse it is.
Essentially, you're painting with
you're looking at photos on the internet of details that you'd never be able to see with your naked eye. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with going that extreme if that's what you want to do. You know, that's fantastic. And the reason that I put my glasses these on is so I can see better details than I can see with the naked eye, because it makes it look crisper when I've got my normal blurry vision on. But ultimately, you're going to be having my arms length moving around a board, aren't you?
Yeah.
Sponsored by Diet Coke.
Yes. Yeah, I drink a lot of Diet Coke as well.
I can't stand Diet Coke. To taste, I don't mind zero and stuff, but Diet Coke tastes completely different.
My mother used to we used to buy a lot of sugar-free squash and cordial rather for the kids. And you just drink gallons of it. I think I don't like the taste of sugar as much as I like the taste of artificial sweetener these days, if that makes any sense.
Right, okay.
I think I've been conditioned to it.
My friend, his mum and dad always buy the diet caffeine free, and we always said essentially it was brown water. Absolutely awful. A completely pointless purchase.
Like a Funko Pop.
Right.
On
Thank
that
you very much, everybody. Thank you for everybody who's joined us. Much appreciated. And thank you for everybody who's chatted with us. And it was an experience.
As always, it always is an experience with me. As always, we will just announce these when we can be asked doing one. It's so if you subscribe to the Facebook page, you'll get it, and Twitter even. Diet Coke is superior. Yes, I agree. Right.
Bye.